everybody to Sports Goofs number 109. I'm Francisco, joined by my good buddy Charles, and who is that on the line as well?
I'm out of the penalty box, gentlemen.
What?
Well, maybe not a penalty box. I'm not doing anything wrong, but it certainly feels like I'm being punished.
And the gods are pretty pissed off because we're hearing the thunder coming as you came back in.
But who dares put this competent man on this show after 3 years of debauchery? Or it feels like 3 years, but like a month of debauchery.
Yeah, just me and Charles, just all kinds of oddities. And yeah, Andrew's return is sponsored by McDonald's. Played perfectly at the moment that he said hello. So there you go, Andrew.
Wait, we're sponsored by McDonald's now?
Yeah, you've been gone a bit, man.
We broke a lot of rules because remember we're like, oh hey, we're gonna eat McDonald's stuff, we're gonna do McDonald's things. In the entire month we've been sponsored, I have not had McDonald's, and that's not my fault because they have been close renovations on late night drives back, man.
Ooh. So
that's on you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, Andrew. Yeah, things have happened in the meantime. If y'all want to get some Charles Mustache merch, you can find that at our store.
You got new babies? Get my mustache as a onesie.
Yeah, Charles is about to give that to all kinds of friends and family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all hate your life yet? You should, because if you don't buy one of these for your babies and make it stylish, they're gonna get picked on. You want to get the little Reeboks? No. Get the mustache onesies.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a mustache mask. I might actually do that for work just to mess with people.
Oh, that would be awesome. I think I would love for you to. Yeah, just go to work with it. Don't go to like. I
couldn't go to court.
I feel like the judges may not have that much of a sense of humor. The judge I had today was actually pretty cool. I liked them today. Was joking around, and he was pretty cool. I liked him this morning. All right, so it made the 1 hour wait, Andrew, pretty good to listen to him. So that's why it took me a while for us to have lunch. But yeah, Andrew, it's been a while. It has been a long while since you've been on. Sports have happened between that time.
It's been at least a month.
Yeah, we had All-Star games, we had a Stanley Cup final, we had an NBA final, we had an NHL draft, we're having an NBA draft tonight, and I'm gonna stay on for I mean, last year was 4 hours, so if it's gonna go 4 hours, it's gonna go 4 hours today. And I went insane last year, and judging by our podcast numbers, that's actually one of our best episodes. Was me losing my mind, so I'm hoping we get some of that. You're
anti-establishment. You're loved.
My apathy is.
Francisco. You should get yourself a BTS meal to get yourself through this. That sweet chili and Cajun flavors might wake you up a little bit.
Have you had it, Andrew?
I have not.
Oh, okay.
We're sorry, McDonald's.
None of us have gone and gotten.
We want to try, man.
Listen, I've been. I've considered getting some of their meals. I forget who have been their partners in the past, but I've just never pulled the trigger. The BTS one, not really for me because, again, I'm not a big sweet chili and Cajun flavor person. I'm not a big fan of, what's the word? Heat? I don't know. Spice? I'm allergic to it, I guess. Not literally, but you get the point.
Yeah.
It'll take me a few episodes to get back into the
groove.
Podcast mindset. Right now, I'm just kind of jumbling words together.
All right. That's fine. Well, we've got...
that was literally us when you weren't here, bud.
Yeah, we had some improvisational episodes.
Consistency?
I made a Charles mustache because I was running out of things to say about baseball before the trade deadline. The Marlins suck. That's apathy is starting to creep in for baseball too. So yeah, don't worry, Andrew. It's fine. I think we might have prepped for one episode, but for the most part, it's just
delayed. We delayed other things.
We just started talking about video games. Always a nice fallback. And food.
There's
and
a lot
food.
of trash talk on Vince McMahon. Yeah. We're gonna have the
Yeah,
culinary
Charles had like a 30-minute rant last episode.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to rein you all in a little bit.
All right, so won't get as frisky today. That's
It's
fine.
too late. We've tasted blood.
All right, yeah, we got a jam-packed show. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things going down. A lot of things happening. So I don't even know where to start, man. Okay, Olympics. Olympics are happening, right? Have you guys watched anything at all?
I have.
You have, Andrew. All right, what have you been watching?
Well,
I think the baseball tournament started today, right?
Yes, it did. And it'll continue today. I'm not even going to go with tonight, tomorrow, whatever, because the time difference is 13 hours.
Yeah.
So right now it's 8 a.m., so they're probably just about to get going. I think they usually start around 9 a.m. their time.
I think, what was it? The first game was Israel versus South Korea, right?
Correct.
And Israel lost on a walk-off.
I'm not happy.
I think it was a wild pitch.
I wasn't able to catch the game. I was sleeping.
Okay. Well,
Like
I think it was something like that, like a walk-off hit by pitch or something like that. I think that's what it was. Oh man.
But we get another go at it tonight or in the next group of hours.
Okay. Yeah.
We go against the USA, and I think that's a must-win because it's 3-team pools. So you're going to have a 2-0 team, a 1-1 team, and an 0-2 team.
Mm-hmm.
I think. But anyway, it's the top two from each pool advance. So a loss here will definitely eliminate Israel.
So that's happening. I watched. Well, luckily, if anybody has NBC or like Xfinity or that stuff or a cable subscription, NBC Sports pretty much has everything on right now with regards to the Olympics. So you can watch pretty much a lot of stuff live through that, which makes it easier rather than waiting for NBC's nightly package of curated stuff for us dumb Americans, because they truly believe we are the stupidest people on earth. This is what fencing is. Like, we can't figure it out for ourselves. But yeah, they actually have a nice highlight channel, so that it kind of condenses everything that's going on over the course of more than a week now since the Olympics started. So there you go. I mean, the great thing about Olympics is we had video game music in the opening ceremonies. So, thank God. And I keep saying this, guys. I don't know if you guys agree with me. There should be more video game music utilized at sporting events. Sheesh, man.
Considering what they played, it was a very big sign to get in this anytime we bring in Kingdom Hearts, because it unites us all weebs and Disney and Final Fantasy fans.
I mean, but like video game music in general.
You want Doom, though. Let's be honest. When Team USA is kicking in, you want the Doom Slayer theme song.
I mean, the Doom soundtracks would be perfect for hockey games. My God. Why we keep using all these? And forgive me, Andrew, I know you're a huge music aficionado. All these 80 metal bands, but the video games of today were inspired by them, just like Doom. The Doom freaking soundtrack was basically slight plagiarism of those songs, and yet here we don't use them. Just a gripe I have of entertainment people running sports arenas and stadiums today. It's just, come on, guys. Have a little culture. Have a little bit of culture. That's just all I'm saying.
Well, let's have fun with this. One video game series.
It sounds like you're pulling out a lot of evil stuff with that thunder coming from behind you, Charles.
Well, lo and behold, I bring in the Furious.
Yeah.
All right, boys. What video game soundtrack do you want to hear if your team's in the Olympics?
Ooh.
Put on the spot. First off, Andrew, how do you feel? This is what happens. We're not used to him here, and I need my little bebla with me. How do you feel about video game soundtracks in the Olympics?
Depends on the soundtrack.
I mean, yeah.
Which
I mean,
now brings in...
hold on. It depends on the sport, and then are you talking about it's playing while the event is going on?
Well, I think they did as like introductions, right, when they came on.
But
the
I mean,
ceremony.
Like,
how did you feel about?
Let's say in the middle of a fencing match, they playing video game music.
I think that'd be awesome. But that's just me.
I've done it with Mario and Sonic, but yeah.
I'm not a fan of adding stuff that is normally not there. Like, for example, fencing is always silent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with, again, depending on the music, being part of the intro or whatever. Although I think it would be fantastic if they played video game 16-bit versions of the national anthems.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Oh, like NHL 94 or something.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I don't see why it can't hurt.
Okay, so Charles, answer your question. I mean, Zelda Twilight Princess's soundtrack, I think could go well. Anything with that type of orchestral score would be pretty good. Just like a grand atmosphere, especially if you have like a storied franchise or something. I mean, like your New York Yankees who got spanked by the Rays today, 14-0.
Yeah, we're like Team USA. This is basically round robin because both teams suck anyway. I have my suggestion. I think Andrew would agree with me on this one because it's so epic, and I don't care about feelings. You guys already know how I feel about that. For the last 3 years, I've talked about my natural to say, what am I winning out of this, right? You know, am I saving my village from being decapitated? You know, up the ante.
Well, some of them are, but yes.
Well, ooh, I was going to segue to that much later, but you know, we won't hit that just yet. I actually thought about what I was going to write to that segment. I'm proud of myself. But anyway, back to that before we go into the tangent that I would have had. It was just the orchestral menu for Halo would be awesome. Yes. If you have reverence of like non-hillbillies representing Team USA, but you know, with those non-hillbillies who are just coming in and going, basically have Simone Biles coming in because you know it's the end. You just have that whole with Master Chief and the Arbiter in the background with the Halo. I'm like, that's basically her. She's the end of things, guys. Or Team USA women's gymnastics in total. It's just the Halo orchestra music. There is no other individual or team representing it now for the Olympics that even comes closer. You don't get that reference.
Damn it. That freestyle segment that they do, they should probably just have that playing in the background.
I'm just saying, the whole thing. Y'all already know it.
Yeah. I can go for
my
that.
Suggestion.
Like everybody, even if you don't own an Xbox, you know that theme. You just know it. All right. So... other things from the Olympics, Japan won their softball tournament over Team USA 2-0 to win the gold. First time softball and baseball has been played since 2008, so that's a big deal. And of course, it makes sense because they're in Japan and that's their national sport. So why wouldn't they have it? But it's still not a given whether that's going to come back in the future. Although we have dressage, and I don't get why we can't have baseball. I mean, it's
well. Unfortunately, and this kind of sort of segues into something I want to discuss in a little bit, but kind of like how Vanderbilt is still considered a member of the SEC, or no,
has a college football program.
Every team, but anyway, even though Vanderbilt is still a part of the SEC, although they don't bring anything in, they're still there because it's a legacy program.
Mm-hmm.
So, in that regard, anything equestrian is kind of one of those legacy sports,
I guess,
and those aren't going anywhere. By the way,
kind of makes sense with Vanderbilt and the horse stuff, yeah.
Although in defense to Vanderbilt, they have a very good baseball team. So
yes, they do.
They actually do bring something to the table. Fun fact, though, guess who was on the U.S. Olympic equestrian team this year?
Somebody who played for them?
Bruce Springsteen's daughter.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
Love the boss.
Okay. I see. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, another thing. Simone Biles pulls out for mental health reasons. There's a big stink happening right now for some people, and of course the argument of players, not just in this sport, in all kinds of sports. We saw it with Naomi Osaka over in tennis during Wimbledon, I believe, where she pulled out for mental health reasons, and now we see it here for Simone Biles. And some people are pissed at her for doing so, and it's not that big of a deal. And other people, especially me after what I experienced this year, am like, good for her. Everybody else can go fuck themselves.
Well, I found out. I mean, I'm cool with her pulling out for any reason. She's
earned it at this point.
She's not going to pull out for. She's not going to take herself out of a competition willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people say, "Oh, it's hurting her team." If something is serious enough to warrant you deciding, you know what, I can't do this,
mm-hmm.
whatever that is probably going to hurt your team if you can't do it. But screw the team, forget the team. Simone, she doesn't need to give a reason for what she came out for.
Yeah.
But she did give a reason.
Yes.
And the second that she gave it, everyone's like, in the gymnastic community is like,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She called it twisties, which I've never heard that term before. But apparently it's just the inability to judge yourself spatially when in the air.
Yeah.
Her example that she gave was she intended to do 2.5 twists on the vault, and she only ended up doing 1.5. So somewhere in the air, she lost a full twist.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even imagine how scary that is when there's that possibility of cracking your neck on a hard vault like that.
Yeah.
Like, oy, yeah. God, I'm glad she pulled out.
Yeah.
I think she's 24. You know, if she wanted to, she could come back for 2024. I mean, I know that's a bit old for gymnastics.
But not undoable.
But I mean, there was I think Belarusian, maybe Russian gymnast who came back at 46. So who knows? But either way, she's got a full life ahead of her, regardless of whether it's in gymnastics or not.
Mm-hmm.
Reinforcing this point, in gymnastics team event, someone has to scratch on every apparatus anyway. So by pulling out, it gave USA, hi BU, better shot as they'd be feeling a team that was potentially good. Yeah, it's So if she was going to be impaired in some way, that's shorthand. That's handcuffing the team a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she actually helped the team have a better shot rather than letting ego or whatever got in front of side or even just pressure just to perform get in the way of that. So if anything, she'd be way more commended for that than anything else. So good for her. Good for her. Everybody else just screw themselves. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh.
My hot take is essentially this: the Olympics don't matter. It's all fake, right? You're going to complain about an individual making a determination whether you like it or not, for her making her own choices. And in honest, y'all don't care about Simone Biles. Y'all don't follow Simone Biles. The reason why I like Simone Biles is because you're told by ESPN, by the country,
NBC,
by sports, whatever thing is, NBC, that she matters. You don't follow gymnastics as it is.
Yeah.
She is not your love child. It's the same way of how none of you guys followed swimming. It's how none of you followed true running with Usain Bolt. You are just bandwagoners, and to tell somebody who has put their life since they were children, deal with their family, their friends, their societal pressures, And now that she's let her country down, this is where I was going with it earlier. Y'all don't know the consequences that, for this poor young woman, I'm going to say, because I'm 32 next month, so I can say people now, right? Get my grades and I found one. But for this poor young woman to have to go for people who are really ignorant, and I say ignorant not because of the situation, I say ignorant because they just can't accept people's reasoning without explanation. And you know what the problem is, even if she did say a little bit of a twisties, look, I'll be very frank, I don't know how having the case of the twisties, which seems like a physical component issue, is intertwined to mental health issues, but what I'm saying is I don't need her to give me an explanation. You people are requiring an explanation, and you want to be the worst thing possible, to which you think is a justification of why she couldn't be there. You need grandma, grandpa, you cut that her cousin, the whole family just to die of the virus or something else in there to justify her pullout. You need this traumatic effect where, as an individual, there's a person who's just saying enough, and you don't respect her boundaries. None of you care in that sense. You put on this fake collage of the Olympic itself for this nationalism, pride, and everything coming like that. But this woman who has just kind of put her own heart, sweat, and tears coming into it has to come down to hear some guy who's eating Cheetos or some gal who's eating Cheetos on her couch, trying to critique what all this is meaning for teamwork. I don't care about that. Frauds you are as fan bases, even to that, to even support her. Not a fan. Shut the hell up. She's a grown woman. Let her make her own decisions, because you know what? How are you going to feel if you were trying not to even? How bad do you feel going to your typical 9 to 5 job, whenever at a professional level, at a retail level, at the gas station, at Burger King? When does it even have to inquire to your manager why you just didn't want to come to work today? Why you want to ask for that day off? That PTO that you're so used. Get the hell out of it.
Yeah. Why aren't you serving up BTS meals?
Hey, they're
to the
sponsoring
Goofs.
us, so we're not gonna attack it. We love your BTS meals.
Yeah.
Why aren't you giving us your tuna that's not tuna at Subways?
Oh,
Charles,
man.
Andrew, and Francisco and B, you need that.
All right. So that's our take on that. So let's see. We can move on, shall we? We're still not at NBA draft time. That's fine. We still really don't care, so it doesn't really matter.
I make a motion
Yes.
for our next topic.
Yes.
And it's a bit of a surprise, but I'm breaking the mold here. We have some breaking NBA news.
Go what? What?
Apparently, the Lakers are near a deal to acquire Russell Westbrook in exchange for Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell,
You try.
Contavious Caldwell Pope, and a 2021 first-round pick.
But they're also supposed to be for Buddy Hield. So it's like, can you get both? I don't know how.
Yeah, we'll see.
Should we chime in on this before? I could chime in on briefly of why it's good breaking news and why it might be possible. Because nobody is under contract this year except for LeBron, AD, KCP, Montrezl just probably opted in, and Kuzma. So what happens is you still have an open of 10 roster spots. You trade away Harrell's $9.7 million player option. Kuzma's remaining 2-year deal. All this other stuff, it absorbs it. But $41 million is what you could be paying for Russ, and how that spacing is going to work. Buddy Hield, on the other hand, that's great. Kings suck. They'll steal his soul. He's a sweetheart. We like him. I love Russ. You guys know I love Russ. I know he offers literally anything, everything but his ego as a positive thing. That ego, though, I love it so much. The guy can at least kind of make it, you can feel his passion. But on the Lakers, with LeBron, I have a feeling that locker room, there's going to be a lot of locker room fights. I don't like
well,
hurt,
he'll be back home. He is from LA.
Everybody's from LA, man. Just get to DeMar DeRozan. It's okay. Go from there. But let's be fair, too. This is a knee-jerk reaction, not because of the fact that they really needed Russ or they even really need Buddy. It's more of a knee-jerk reaction because when Davis went out, it was just like, it's just LeBron and nobody else. This is the product of just bad free agent signings. And I remember a year ago, it's like, damn, they got better with all these guys. And realizing Dennis Schroeder, and to be fair, Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook are probably the evolutions of each other. And I'm playing Pokemon right now, so that's what I'm saying. Bad three-point shooters can drive the lane when they remember to. Sometimes there's a little bit of that cockiness that comes into it. But they're going to let Schroeder go. So more power to them. but that doesn't solve their small size problem, because all you have if you let Montrezl Harrell go is Marcus Gasol.
Ancient Marcus Gasol.
Very slow Marcus Gasol. Because here's the thing too, when you got Andre Drummond, it was that 1 year deal. You don't want him back. You don't want him back. Let him go to the Kings. He ain't gonna be that offensive unit that you want.
Yeah, I forgot Andre Drummond was on the Lakers.
Exactly. And unlike McDonald's BTS meal, he's kind of forgettable. We haven't had your BTS meal, but we want, and just like Andrew, so in breaking news on the NBA, it's unforgettable. Andre Drummond's forgettable. Andrew, did you watch any of the finals?
Get ready for a surprise, gentlemen. I did.
Because
I think
my coronation is coming, but I want to hear the non-biased intake here.
I think the inundation of our group chat for Game 6 and stuff running up to Game 6 kind of compelled Andrew to watch Game 6.
Well, I was going to watch part of it anyway because I have a general interest in watching clinching games for major sports.
Fair.
If I don't really have any general interest in the sport or what's going on, it's like, yeah, but I can see the celebration, so I'll pop in toward the end. So that was what I was doing there, and I definitely caught a good game. Giannis was on another planet.
Would you say that it's like Olympus level? If you're saying it's another planet, because he's the Greek freak. Guys, I'm just trying to make mythology. Don't do this. You're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards here.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh, man.
Did you watch your Lightning win? Because here's the thing, we weren't even. He wasn't even there for that either, right?
No, he was not.
I of course watched them.
We need these reactions.
I watched every game except for game 1 of the first round. Because I was unavailable, but everything else I made sure I was available for.
How does it feel being a 2-time champion where Francisco and I teams can't even sniff any bit of air success?
Miami Heat, come on now. Don't start changing.
We lost in the finals, bud.
2012, 2013. I'm just saying, it's some years back, but still.
Listen, man, that's like me hampering around for that old girlfriend. I don't look the same. She didn't look the same. We gotta look into the future, man. We gotta look into the future. Tell us, Andrew, what's it like to be famous? Because now you get another re-going at Tampa Bay.
Yep. Well, and I know how much you guys hate Tampa Bay.
It's possible.
Okay, I will allow it if the Rays can pull it off.
I'm on anybody but the Boston Red Sox right now.
Or if the Bucks win again, or if the Lightning three-peat, then I'll allow it. No, then I'll have no choice but to. Okay, but the whole Tampa Bay thing, I think once you have four in the last 2 years.
Riddle me this though: you already had.
I'm just jealous.
You had Tampa winning, the Lightning winning twice. Buccaneers on paper, Aaron Rodgers going back to Green Bay in a very Queen petty move by Aaron Rodgers. That even though I have that petty towards him, I respect the petty because y'all know me and how I do things. There's still, Tampa's still the team to beat. I said it. If you get double and double going on there, man, I think you have to acknowledge it because you're talking about two possible back-to-backs in different franchises. Be damned where the Rays end up doing with their lives. It's compelling stuff.
No,
but to give you my reaction, it's weird. I don't want to say it's lost its luster because it's still amazing. I'm still extremely excited to be a fan of the team, and last year was one thing, I mean, I've been a fan since 2008, which was when I made the conscious decision for all of my sports, with the exception of NFL, because I really just still don't give a damn. I made a conscious decision to, instead of chase players for fandom, I would settle on teams, and I settled on Orlampa teams. So Lightning, Magic, Rays. And I guess now I'm a Bucks fan because we have disowned Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, but did you though? Because you've been playing with just a tip on that.
Damn, man, I am good.
It feels like 7 months.
I'm done with them.
Just killed a mosquito mid-flight right in front of me. There we go.
Okay. All right, Billy Badass.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh, Andrew. Speaking of disowning, we must for certain reasons. The
power of Tom Brady compels you.
Yeah. Oh my God, is he becoming likable too? Oh my God.
Well, but
his cockiness is starting to become like, all right, you've earned it.
It's Miami cockiness.
Oh,
before your comment or something, but I just want to continue my train of thought. I kind of got a little bit distracted, but anyway, since I've been a fan, and I know there are fans out there that suffered a lot more. Fans of the team back when it was first started, those were bad years. But since I've been a fan, it's been a lot of near misses, which in some ways hurt, I think, having been a fan of a team that has gone 0-12 and has suffered through really shitty years. In some ways, I think those near misses hurt worse. Because it's kind of like, winning fourth in the Olympics. It's like, could I have done just a little bit? Could that one play or something like that? So in 2011, we were so close to beating Boston in the Eastern Conference Final, and they ultimately won. So it's kind of one of those, could we have won the Stanley Cup? Because if we beat, it's one of those, I forget what it's called, but if we beat them, and then in real world they beat them, therefore we should have beat them. Sorts of things. 2015,
transitive property.
Thank you. Yeah,
transitive property. Yeah.
So it's kind of like transitive property. It's in the real world, Boston beat Vancouver and led to Vancouver being set literally on fire. So if we beat Boston, do we beat Vancouver? We'll never know. Then you've got 2015, which we lost 4-2 to the Blackhawks. 2018, we blew a 3-1 lead, or 3-1 or 3-2 lead to Washington in the Eastern Conference Finals, where they go on to win the Stanley Cup. So again, if we beat them, do we beat Vegas? Then 2019 was just god awful for the playoffs. We get swept in the first round by the fucking Blue Jackets. We basically played one period in that series, and that was it. So to win one cup was incredible, to be there for it, but then to win another is just amazing. It's hard to comprehend. But it's kind of bittersweet because, what's happening now should have happened last year, which is the dismantling of the team, because we were above the salary cap, but because Kucherov was on the long-term injured reserve
on purpose.
I will debate that until the day I die.
And I will say that he and the Lightning knew what was going down, and he willingly got the surgery.
Mm.
We've had this conversation before. But either way, you guys won.
Purposely being inactive.
I'm just
up
jelly.
The system. That's a Charles move.
I'm just jelly. We all know this.
But now we've lost Yanni Gord to Seattle in the expansion draft. We've lost David Savard, who was only there for a few months. We got him in free agency, but he was a key contributor on the defensive side of things. We lost Blake Coleman. We've lost Barclay Goodrow. There's a chance we might lose Andre Palat. It's Tyler Johnson we lost. Tyler Johnson is one of the few players remaining on the team from the 2015 Stanley Cup. And he was definitely one of my favorite. Mech Warrior 5 supports our stream?
Man, you've been on wild, man. You've been gone.
We got that BD.
I love Mech Warrior. I played the hell out of Mech Warrior 2 when I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
And Mech 3. I love Mech Warrior. I say fuck you to all these people that say MW2 is Modern Warfare 2. No. MW2 is Mech Warrior 2.
Ooh.
Buddy.
We're talking 1995, guys, when Mech Warrior 2 came out. And it was still, to this day, 26 years later, still one of the best video game soundtracks that I've ever heard.
Oh, man. Holy.
I am stoked. And you know who's one of the voice actors in Mech Warrior 5? Nathan Fillion.
Oh my God.
Nathan Fillion's a beast. Nathan Fillion is the real life version of Nathan Drake. Which is another series I love. Uncharted.
Yeah.
Beautiful series. I highly recommend you play it. If you can.
We sponsor that, man.
It's a PlayStation exclusive. That's one of the reasons why I got the PlayStation 4 instead of an Xbox One.
I think it's on PlayStation now for Francisco. So
I ain't paying for that. I am not paying for PS.
Come on.
I'll lend you the games, Francisco.
I mean, my brother-in-law has a PS3. I could play the old school ones if I wanted to, but
I will lend
guys,
you
the
the
backlog's
games,
too long. I can't keep up. I tried Amazon Luna just recently this past week. It's fine. It works fine, but I just can't justify a subscription service on top of what I have for Amazon Prime, and it's just and my Nintendo Switch. I just can't, man. I can't. But Andrew, your impassioned love for Mech Warrior, McDonald's is probably looking at us. What do we have to do to have that kind of passion? Every time we bring up the BTS meal, we just start talking about Burger King and Wendy's.
McDonald's, if you can craft up a 60-foot tall nuclear-powered robot fitted with particle pulse cannons, lasers, missiles. Nathan Fillion's voice as a mercenary.
The Nathan Fillion meal. Why don't you do that?
Nathan Fillion. I can go with that. I mean, you have a lot of source material you can work with. He's been in Firefly.
After 1 week. Ooh. For anybody who's watched Firefly,
Firefly, Castle.
He's on The Rookie on ABC.
He's on The Rookie right now. He's played Buck in the Halo series.
He's on the Suicide Squad movie coming out August 6th on HBO Max.
Which I heard terrible reviews about the first Suicide Squad, but just by virtue of him being in this one, I am watching it. If Nathan Fillion, where Nathan Fillion goes, I go. So thank you, Mech Warrior 5, for getting me on such a huge tangent away from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, it was a beautiful tangent, Andrew. We wow, that is such an impassioned love for Mech Warrior. Oh boy.
And one other thing, one of my fellow moderators on RCFB, I love this man because It's like he's my long lost brother, because this is a man who loves Mech Warrior, and one of his favorite movies is The Hunt for Red October. Be still my heart. Be still my heart.
Oh man,
those two properties made up a huge part of my childhood.
You should get him a Charles mustache pillow. Why don't you get him one of those?
I was a very weird child. My favorite movie was about espionage under the sea, and my favorite video game was massive fighting robots destroying each other.
That just sounds like
a typical 90-year-old male, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me finish my lightning discussion really quick. I apologize. Sorry, I have a lot of information that I'm cramming into this podcast because it's my first time back in a while, and I've missed a lot. But it's sad seeing these guys go, and this is really sort of my first wholesale loss of a lot of players from a team, especially very beloved players. You know, Tyler Johnson was my favorite player. I know I say I can still have a favorite player, but not follow them from team to team. But A, he wore the number 9. B, he's from Seattle. And C, he's a small player. I have a tendency to gravitate and follow smaller players. It's kind of like the little scrappy guy. You know, Martin St. Louis, another small player. It's like you love that little underdog aspect of them. You know, it's kind of like in the NBA, Muggsy Bogues or
Spud Webb.
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
You root for the little guy, literally. I mean, 5'9", 5'8", 5'9" is not little.
Yeah, they're our size, but
compared to Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb, but compared to a lot of hockey players now, you know, it seems like 6 foot is the bare minimum now.
I mean, you can reach 6 feet on skates, you know.
No, 6 feet without skates.
I know. That's what I know, but still, you can get to 6 feet on skates.
That is true. Zdeno Chara 6'9" without skates. Good
nice.
Lord. Oh well, nicer than that is I'm 5'9". Do you know what that is in inches?
69.
69 inches. I'm 69 inches tall. But anyway, it's I feel I kind of understand now what Francisco went through in 97 and 03. I mean, obviously you had it a hell of a lot worse because you lost your entire fucking team and there was no reason to lose them. But it still hurts, though. These are guys that you've been fans with, you've been a fan of for 9+ years.
The salary cap is just kind of forcing you guys to do it.
I know it is.
That's just the thing, you know.
And I like the idea of the salary cap as much as it bites us in the ass or bites anyone in the ass, because then you don't have situations where the Yankees buy up Joey Gallo or Joey Gallo and Anthony.
We didn't buy him up; they traded for him.
First off, Anthony Rizzo is gone this year as a free agent, so I won't hear that slander. 2, if you're gonna put it on the modern stuff, you gotta put it on the Dodgers. They're the one that were paying Mr. Touchy $40 million a year.
I only called out the Yankees because it's the most recent. But yes, recent.
But I gotta defend my team because I got nothing, man. I got nothing. My happiness with them is you're happy. You're talking about Tampa and this dynasty they're creating. I look back at the Yankees dynasty and it's just ashes through my fingers.
And didn't help that I sent you that tweet of our Lord and Savior and his at his golf tournament with Joe Torre and Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada and Andy Pettit.
No way, Hall of Fame. What you sent me was the Hall of Competency. Go ahead, Andrew. Throw your hatred on us. It's okay.
So and again, I apologize for picking on you guys. It's don't hate the player, hate the game. Um, but this isn't the first time you guys have gone all in on free agency and shit.
Can I just get a picture? Can I get a picture?
No,
I'm sorry, looking at ESPN stats.
The Dodgers, the Padres,
But why would you want them to have pitchers that only Aaron Boone will only ruin?
Because I want to have it. But that's the thing. That's the answer, though. Because you could squarely put it on Aaron Boone. Because if you don't do it, then you're like, is this really a Boone problem now, or is it Cashman? And that's hard, man. Because what we turn from is just we get some guy who became a captain because all the other people above him got killed on the war field or on the battlefield. Whereas we look at Brian Cashman, and it's like, do I have to murder my own sibling on like Shakespeare on this? That's what it feels like. Just to give my very convoluted and overdramatic example, because I'm a dramatic ass, I understand.
I'm trying to get Andrew, because this is since we all are. Gosh, man, I cannot talk right now. We are on hockey right now, and you have noted a lot of changes to the Lightning, but there's a lot of stuff happening around the league as well. I mean, we had the expansion draft where your beloved Yanni Gord left to go off to play for the Kraken. And that was and by the way, that was ESPN's first coverage of the NHL in like 15 years or so, right? Like 15, 16 years now.
And hey, here, get this though. The Lightning must be channel killers, because
That's right.
What was the last Stanley Cup that ESPN covered?
Is it 2004?
2004. What was the last Stanley Cup that NBC covered? 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So obviously that means that whenever ESPN's contract expires and they go and NHL goes with, I don't know, Sky Sports. Let's get the Brits in here. That means that Tampa is on its way to another World Series. I'm excited for Seattle to get a team. That's kind of my second city. I have family that lives out there. So NBC. Oh, you've got to be kidding!
Oh, Andrew, why would you do that? Why would you want us to be subjugated to that again? All right.
Well, I didn't know that they were owned by that Comcast owned Sky Sports.
Well, Pierre Maguire's not there no more. Well, Pierre Maguire's
Ottawa.
Yeah, he's a pretty good judge of talent. I'll tell you that much. But he just kind of got annoying. I don't know why I got annoyed by him, but I just did. I don't know, not in the Joe Buck type of way. That's a different kind of annoyance. But anyways,
but anyway, it's exciting to see what's going on with the NHL.
it's gonna be fun.
Cool that they're getting to 32.
It's gonna be fun seeing their new arena.
Yeah, well, new old arena.
Yeah, exactly, but just how much they've renovated and converted it into a hockey rink, and obviously it only means the NBA is gonna follow, because the NHL is at 32, NFL is at 32, NBA is probably gonna get to 32 before baseball does.
Yeah. But anyway, it's interesting to see expansion. I was around, obviously. I was alive and cognizant of the prior expansion to NHL. Just in my lifetime, you had the Lightning, the Panthers, the Senators, the Predators, the Thrashers/Jets,
Ducks,
the Ducks, thank you, the Blue Jackets,
Sharks,
the Sharks. No, I think the Sharks opened in 91.
Oh, okay. Damn, I'm old.
Wait, Andrew, are you post 1991?
I am old, man.
February 9th, 1992.
I am old.
Holy
My
shit.
God.
Jesus Christ.
And then the Minnesota Wild. So I remember those. I remember, well, not the ones that happened when I was 2 or 3. So the first few, I don't really remember the expansion going on. But this is the first time that I've really been sort of like cognizant and vested in what was going on. So it is pretty exciting.
It wasn't as flashy as, well, I think because of the practice that the GMs had with the Vegas one, there wasn't as much, I guess, devastation, you would say, in comparison. Oh man, the Panthers got absolutely destroyed by the Vegas expansion draft, but this one was a little more light. But I think because I was going to say the Mariners. Gosh darn it, man. I'm already mixing up the teams. The Kraken were like just having a ton of cap space. They had like $29 million in cap space to spend on free agency, and they're already doing it. They're already doing it. They got their flashy guys, though. I mean, yeah, Yanni Gordon and Giordano, who will obviously anchor the team from there on. So we'll see how things go. And Andrew had high praise for Gord, for sure. You really will miss him, for sure.
I'm going to miss all of them, but it's, he's one of those homegrown guys. And he was a part of a third line that I think if they didn't do what they did, we would not have won the Cup. They were a perfect balance of grit and also scoring ability. Blake Coleman scored the last year and this year scored absolutely outrageous one-handed diving goals. Moments that are we can't even say the goal because he did it twice. But those are two moments that are going to go down in franchise history forever. So yeah, it hurts with anyone who leaves. I mean, even David Savard, again, he was only with the team for a couple of months, but he helped us get a championship.
Okay. Let's see. So the pick is in for the Detroit Pistons. So we're just waiting on what that will be for now. It seems to be, but the ESPN's got the camera on him and everything. Okay. So stuff going around the league. So we have the offseason. NHL Draft happened. This is a perfect opportunity for a Gottlieb Goon. And I think Andrew knows where we're going to go with this one, for sure. Because I just mentioned NHL Draft. If I can just find the damn freaking graphic, man. Sheesh. Oh, here we go. We haven't done this in a bit, but the Gottlieb's Goons, the Montreal Canadiens. Oh boy. And it's very warranted this time, and now I am glad that you guys spanked them in the Stanley Cup Finals, Andrew. So thank you for that. Thank everybody for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, just the Montreal Canadiens. Marc Bergevin, who Urinating Tree famously always dunks on every time he does a video and talks about the Habs, did a very tone-deaf move. That's putting it lightly, right? I would think so. So Montreal had the 31st pick in the first round of the draft. I think it was 31st because they lost the Stanley Cup Final. But yeah. BU, you are right. An unforced error with their draft selection. So Montreal drafted a dude named Mailloux, right? Mailloux.
That's other touchy guy, right? The one that you told me.
More like violation of privacy asshole dude. Let's just say.
Oh, okay. So the guy who likes to look into the mirror while he's banging. Gotcha.
Yeah, and took a photo and shared it amongst people and just all kinds of stuff in Sweden, I believe, right? I think that's where it was. So, it's really bad All right, so Montreal drafted this guy, and I noticed in their tweets, because every pick that they made, they had like a big giant graphic and stuff. It was animated graphic, by the way, for each and every one of their picks that they made throughout the draft. But their first round pick, the one that you would think would get a nice big giant graphic, especially the biggest of all the graphics, well, he didn't get that. In fact, the Montreal Canadiens had a planned statement ready to go when they drafted this kid, meaning they knew they were going to draft him. Like, this was planned. They knew, I guess they pretty much knew no other team was going to touch this kid.
Oh, so they Portland trailblazed it? Chauncey Billups. We don't care about that sexual assault case. When he was a rookie, we're going to hire him anyway. So
the Montreal Canadiens drafted this dude who had, in Switzerland, Sweden, whatever, had taken a sexually explicit photo of him with another woman and shared it amongst other people, which is illegal, invasion of privacy, all kinds of stuff. I think he's a sex offender registered over there in Sweden, but he pretty much got like a slap on the wrist over there. And even he specifically asked no NHL team to draft him, at least not to draft him in the first round. The woman that he violated said he never apologized, or if he did apologize, it was like a 3-sentence kind of like a without any real remorse, without any real genuineness to his apology. He's just a fucking dick. And you would think that Montreal, after what the Arizona Coyotes went through, was it a couple drafts ago when they drafted that dude that bullied a disabled child in high school, that they would have had the wherewithal to do something different and not draft this guy, or just had that, just had some sort of awareness for it. But they knew what they were doing. They had the planned statement ready to go. They knew they were going to pick this kid. Mark Bergevin was hell-bent on drafting this dude. And they did it anyways. And everybody in the hockey community was like, oh no. Oh, this is the 2020 draft. Okay, BU. So the Arizona Coyotes did that last year. Oh man, the virus has really lasted that long, huh? But yeah. So this was last year's draft. So even worse. So Montreal knew they were gonna get backlash after what the Coyotes went through. And they pull this off. And you have the planned statement. You have the Montreal Canadiens owner apologizing now. Let's see. We have another article here that he's barred from training camp, this dude. So, it's... Why? I don't understand. Look, and look, right, society, and you should give people a second chance and whatever, but it doesn't mean he gets to have the privilege of going to the NHL. There are some things where, you just missed out on something in life, and you're just going to have to do something else, and you're not going to be a hockey player, dude, because you are a piece of shit and you don't deserve this. So, there's a high chance he's never going to make the NHL. It's hard to get there. Canadiens are a storied franchise, but that story is now... 1993 was a 1993 was a long ass time ago, and a lot of circumstances got the Cavs into the playoffs this year, and their Stanley Cup Finals run was a miracle in and of itself, and probably would not be replicated. But yeah, Andrew.
Guys. Yeah. Guess what I'm doing right now?
Playing Mech Warrior 2?
Oh no, I wish.
Oh, okay.
But I am watching the NBA draft.
Whoa! My
New
God.
year, new me.
Yeah.
This is different Andrew. He ain't Andrew anymore. He's Drew. and you need to respect him.
Yeah.
Get you some puka shells. We'll get you some pomade, high hold, high shine from Cremo. Slick it back. We got you.
Forget pomade. The real hair stuff is Soul Glue.
Oh.
I've never used. Would you recommend it for my hairstyle?
No, it's if you didn't get the reference, then you didn't get the reference.
Is it a movie reference?
It's from Coming to America.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I haven't seen that movie in like 25 years.
Yeah, and I heard people hated the second one. So.
So
By the way, Katie Cunningham, yes, was selected as number 1 by Detroit. So there you go.
My buddy's a Pistons fan, so he should be happy by this information.
Yay! So there we go. All right, that went down. The Rockets also just made their pick, Jalen Green. So
that's a good pickup.
All right, so that's the Rockets pick right there. Yeah. So those are our Gottlieb Goons, the Montreal Canadiens. I keep going, but we all know the deal. The Habs. Even more reason to hate them, and even more reason to really get on the Quebecois when they come down to Florida. So there we go. Like locusts, those people. My God. Okay. And BU's a Boston Bruins fan, of course. Any chance to hate on the Habs, he will join in as well. So there we are. A lot of other stuff went down. So, the actual NHL.
By the way, the Westbrook trade is now official.
Oh, well then.
Whoa.
It is Russell Westbrook, a 2024 second round pick, a 2028 second round pick to LA for Kyle Kuzma, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and tonight's number 22 pick.
Okay, there we go.
Washington Wizards fans that I'm seeing in this chat are not happy.
Well, they were already
Poor
unhappy.
Bradley Beal.
So
Bradley Beal,
come on
Miami,
down
baby.
to Miami, baby. Yeah. Force that trade. You and Dame. Let's go.
Be still my heart.
Oh, man. All right, so NHL Draft. So Owen Power went number 1 to the Buffalo Sabres. And some college hockey stuff. The Michigan Wolverines had 3 of the top 5 players that were drafted this year. So there you go. All right. The Hughes brothers, they were winners. So Quinn is in Vancouver. He was the first one drafted. Jack is in New Jersey, and he's being joined by his brother Luke now. And they are the first trio of brothers selected in the top 10. Each one of them were selected in the top 10, and they're the first trio of brothers to do that in NHL history. So there you go. So the Hughes brothers. So that's some great eggs and sperm in that family, that's for sure. Hey, welcome back, Andrew, to the show. All right, so the Columbus Blue Jackets traded Seth Jones on over to the Chicago Blackhawks, who are, I guess, trying to go for it one more time. It seems like they're one last hurrah for Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and whoever else is still on that team. The Buffalo Sabres traded Sam Reinhart to the Florida Panthers. So, yay for us. We can finally take down those douches up in Tampa. Let's go. Let's get this rivalry going, Andrew. Let's see it. Let's see some ferocity between these two teams. All right? You guys are like the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we're like the San Diego Padres. So let's go. We're ready to take you guys on now. All right?
I'm looking forward to it, man. I want there to be sunshine rivalries every year. As much as I hate that you guys beat the shit out of us literally and a lot of cheap shots. We have a Woj alert.
Woj bomb.
I like how we both did it at the same time. Jinx, show me Coke.
Coke Zero. All right.
Well, the Woj bomb is actually the Russell Westbrook thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, so then it's a what should we call it? An Andrew bomb. That's.
I mean I gotta do with the last name though. Let's go into spoiler.
Alliteration.
Okay.
Oh man. So Panthers, Lightning, rivalry's heating up. Here we go. Bill Zito is trying to craft a team that can take down Tampa. If we can take down Tampa, we can take down anybody. So here we go. And they only gave up a draft pick for next year for Sam Reinhart. And the Panthers now have the top 3 of the top 4 picks from the 2014 draft. So there we go. That's gone down. The Blue Jackets traded Cam Atkinson to Philadelphia for Yakov Voracek. Buffalo traded Ristolainen to Philadelphia as well. The Phillies, man. Well, they're all interchangeable, right? Every Philadelphia team are frauds. We all know this.
Frauds.
Indeed. All right, but not like the BTS meal. There's no fraudulent stuff there. I haven't eaten it. None of us have eaten it. But I cannot be as impassioned as Andrew was for the Mech Warrior.
You know
5.
who eats the BTS meal? Champions. Giannis Antetokounmpo eats BTS meals. You know who doesn't get to order the BTS meals? Devin Booker. That's what coordination's coming, kids. I promise.
Yeah, and neither Ben Simmons nor Joel Embiid.
God, he's so good.
Oh man! All right, so other offseason moves. Pekka Rinne retired. Andrew.
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
He deserved the cup.
Yeah, he got close. He played for one.
Close.
He played for
very
one.
Close.
That's my criteria for greatness. If you play for at least one championship, even if you lose. All right. So you know.
My God. Sorry, I have another. Charles. Remember how I was shitting on the Yankees earlier?
Oh boy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now I have a more recent reason to shit on the Dodgers.
Okay.
According to our Lord and Savior Jeff Passan, the Los Angeles Dodgers are making significant progress on a deal that would send them star right-hander Max Scherzer and star shortstop Trey Turner.
Oh my God! What the hell?
A prospect-laden return.
Man, whichever Steinbrenners are alive, y'all do not want to spend money, do you? Oh my God.
Well, the rumor was that Max didn't want to come to us, and I don't blame him. New York media, him at 35, it wouldn't work. It would be, they would call him literally the savior, and he would get crapped on. I don't blame him. But Washington's really just blowing it up. I mean, Scherzer got one thing, but Trey Turner, isn't he kind of supposed to be your kind of cornerstone since you don't have Harper anymore? And Juan Soto is still kind of young to be deciding that.
Yeah. Damn, man, Trey Turner.
Oh, yeah, that's
I didn't think they were
like.
I didn't think. Oh man, they really just got that 2019 championship and just like, all right, just Juan Soto for the next few years and see what happens in like 5 or 6 years.
Here's the funny part. This is how they feel about the New York Mets. They're not even worth it to try to be competitive.
Oh no, the National League East is a awful division.
They're just like, you know what? Let's worry about that.
No, like
we don't care about chasing you bums.
You guys, I've made jokes like, oh, COVID is about to give the Marlins a chance to get back into this playoff race.
It's kind of there.
Look, the Marlins have played every team in this division a few times already. None of them are that good. None of them are. It's why our Lord and Savior is stocking up on pitching. And if we can just get a little bit of consistent hitting, we can win this division next year. Our Lord and Savior is planning for 2022, not for 2021, which is something the Yankees don't know how to do, Charles.
We know. There's a plan. You guys just don't know the plan.
I don't know. Well, no. Our Lord, Derek Jeter knows what the plan is. That's why he's implementing it in Miami, you know.
Baby, I'm date night. I say, are you hungry? And I give suggestions, and then no one comes to suggestions. They just go to wet chicken tenders, which is the equivalent of like, oh, let's just get bats that strike out when they don't connect.
All right, so where are we? Yeah, so Pekka Rinne, he just, oh well, good career. Ooh, massive trade that went down. Marc-Andre Fleury, the defending Vezina Trophy winner, goes from Vegas to Chicago. I mean,
Chicago
let everybody go.
Chicago is reloading. They picked up Tyler Johnson.
Chicago, they're going for it one more. It's one last hurrah. This is Charles akin to the 2009 Yankees, I would say. One last hurrah. That's what they're going for right now. It was.
I think if you had to go into a better equivalent, it's your
2021, Green Bay Packers trying to get to Aaron Rodgers back on a 1-year deal. That means nothing about the hands of Randall Cobb. Oh, yeah. All the go 13-3 get eliminated.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, Fleury in Chicago. That'll be interesting. The Blackhawks had a lot of very young pieces. They didn't play that badly last season, I think, and Patrick Kane is still Patrick Kane, so it'll be interesting to watch them. Let's see, a real full season. Central Division, St. Louis is probably going to trade Tarasenko. Dallas is there, I guess, but were they really? I mean, I don't know. All the divisions were weird, remember that. But once things get back to normal, we'll see how they do. Minnesota turned it on in the second half of the season and played well. I don't know if that'll be something that can last. Not sure. But we'll see. You have Colorado, who, man, I keep picking them to win the damn cup every year, and they keep failing me. Every damn year, something happens, and they just can't do it. They are knocking on the door, and they can't do it. They kind of feel like the Milwaukee Bucks, Charles. They kind of just feel... Maybe they need their version of Drew Holiday. Maybe. Just maybe. Who knows? Anyways... Vancouver Canucks buy out Braden Holtby, and he heads off to Dallas. Alex Ovechkin, Andrew, re-signed 5 years. 5 years to break Gretzky's record. Do you think it'll happen? Do you think he can make it? He has to be healthy. We all know this.
I don't know. Oh, hey, Francisco, a Seminole is heading out to Toronto.
Hey.
Going to the 6.
Okay. Or Tampa. If they allow him to play. Who knows? Yeah, okay. Go knows. But yay. There we go, Scotty. Let's see. Yeah, Ovechkin. We've had the discussion before. I think we've done it on the show too. On what it would take. Sheesh, man. He'd have to produce on average what? How many goals is he away from Gretzky's record now?
130 something, 135, I think.
Man, I mean it's doable, but those last few years, he's got to be healthy. He's got to be like Jaromir Jagr level of healthy in order to do it. That's what it would take, and who knows? Let's see. Keep on moving. The Arizona Coyotes traded Oliver Ekman-Larsson to Vancouver. The Arizona Coyotes, where bad contracts go to die, because they got Anton Strawman from the Panthers and Shane Gostisbehere from the Flyers. We'll see what... I mean, the Coyotes are... I don't know. Man, they're like in a perpetual rebuild that seems like it will end at some point, but just doesn't. I don't know. It always seems like they've got some pieces, but then, I don't know, just nothing gets going. I have no idea. Dougie Hamilton, that went down big. He goes off to New Jersey. The Devils are trying to get something going. So, Braden Point stays in Tampa. We discussed this for a lot of money. Man's getting paid. Man deserves it, but we'll see how that goes up with the cap with the Bolts. Philip Grubauer. So, the Kraken drafted Chris Driedger from the Panthers, who was a very, very good backup for us. Actually, I wouldn't even say he was a backup because Sergei Bobrovsky has not lived up to his contract whatsoever. He was really just the 1A, 1B. And he served his purpose pretty well. I sung his praises for sure. And he's off to Seattle. He's a young goaltender. He's like, 26, I think. So he's not... He's gonna have a chance to shine in Seattle, and I think with Grubauer, he will probably be he'll be the backup at 25-30 games with Chris Driedger. You're gonna get a lot of wins because he's pretty darn good for sure.
I will say this. I don't know what Carolina is doing, but they're nuts because they gave up Alex Nedeljkovic.
Well, I was listening to the hockey guy on YouTube. Great channel, by the way. If you like hockey, you follow that man. And he actually thinks the Hurricanes are knocking on the door of a Stanley Cup run. So he likes what they're doing right now for sure. And yeah, and Seattle's stocking up on guys with all that cap space. Ronnie Franchise, also a former Hurricane. So there we go. He's got a plan, and we'll see if they execute. I don't think the Kraken are going to be awful. I mean, when you have the Buffalo Sabres in the league, you can't be the worst team in the league. But I don't. It'd be, gosh, man, next to impossible to see them do what Vegas did in their first season. Oh, there you go. All right. That's all the hockey out of me right now. There's still stuff going down. Corey Perry's with the Lightning now. He's still playing, by the way. I thought he died and moved to Winnipeg, but he's still playing.
He was in the finals this year.
Yeah, I know, but still, yeah, he was with Montreal. But hey, he already won a cup with Anaheim, so it's not like a. Well, actually, it might be like a last hurrah thing for him too. Maybe he's trying to get one more before he retires. I can see that. And that is it for me. Where are we on time? Whoa, we are way past the halfway point, guys. Well, this is really no halfway point here because I'm going all of this NBA draft. But I think it's time, right, guys? Is it time?
Yes.
Should be time. All right. So, Andrew, it's been a long while, but it's a word from our non-sponsors. People, places, things, concepts, what have you, that we've been enjoying over the last week. Andrew, I don't know, you don't have to open. Maybe I don't know if you have anything that you've had planned for the last month, but if anything,
I can start.
But if anything, I can go because I have something.
I can
too.
start. I'm actually looking at mine right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay, let's go.
Let's see. So my non-sponsor is. Have I non-sponsored CFB revamped yet?
I'm not sure, but even if you have, we've done many repeats before with non-sponsors, so it doesn't really matter, does it? There's no rules. You know this. But let's go. If that's your non-sponsor, let's do it. Let's do it.
So CFB revamped is a mod of NCAA 14, and it's just fantastic. I really cannot say much more, but I will try to. I don't know how. I am continually amazed by these people who did this. They reskinned an entire game that is 8 years old, and it looks just brand new. They've redone team uniforms. Jalen Suggs headed to Orlando. Poor man. I wish you well, Jalen, but you poor soul.
Oh man.
I thought he was pick number 2, or did they do like it is basketball, so that means nothing. Oh, Jalen Green, I'm sorry. That's a good pick for him, though.
Anyway, what? I swear, ESPN has these really weird 3D graphics.
Oh, they are just all over with the 3D graphics and the augmented reality or stuff like that. It's gone. This is why I don't watch ESPN. But go ahead, Andrew. Speaking of good graphics, actual good graphics, not just whatever. But here we go.
Although MechWarrior 2 had good graphics for its time. But anyway, they've redone everything. The only things they weren't able to touch were physical stadium models, because I'm assuming that's outside of their purview, or their abilities. But uniform designs, stadium banners, the field designs, any textures, they were able to completely overdo. or redo, and it's just incredible. It takes a mod to your 360 to be able to do it, to use it, but it is so worth it for a college football fan. And, now EA is deciding to get back into the game of making college sports, but this is, in some ways, I think it's going to be better than what EA puts out, because EA is all about cash grabs now, although EA seems to have some sense of intelligence because they hired a couple of the lead modders to join their team, making the new NCAA game. So maybe things will be different and they're actually not complete idiots. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Now these are clean graphics, man. Just real clean. Oh man. And I have yet to see, I haven't really looked into 360 or PS3 emulation on my. Wait, it's on PC as well. Custom available updates for NCAA 14 on PS3, Xbox 360, and PC. So maybe they found a way. Life finds a way, Andrew. So there we go. Yeah, and you have it yourself, don't you?
What, the mod?
Don't you have a mod for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got your impressions on there, for sure. And there's your beloved UCF in the background. Very nice. Very cool. You have a promo code?
CFB revamped.
Okay. Nice, short, sweet, to the point. All right, gentlemen. I guess I will go next. So, man, I haven't made this in years, but I got the itch to try and make some shakes, make some smoothies again. I haven't touched my. It's not really a bullet, but it's basically on that same line as the Aldi version of it. Just it works for what I need it for, just for myself. And I remember when I did CrossFit years ago, when I was a gorgeous Greek god of a man. Unlike a gorgeous Greek god of a man that we will talk about later. We will get to that. But there was a post-workout shake that I always made that always hit the spot. Just always did. And I hadn't made it in a long time. And I went to Rhode, which is a smoothie place that I frequent here in Miami, and I got what they called the the Peanut Power Plus. Basically, it's a peanut butter and banana milkshake. And I had a few of those. I'm like, oh, this is real good, but it's expensive, man, to get that all the time. So I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to the store, get a big jug of peanut butter, grab a big stack of bananas, get a couple gallons of milk. I'm gonna do that myself. So my non-sponsor is just peanut butter banana milkshakes, guys. I love these damn things. It's just full of calories, but God, man, just I can't get enough of it. I really can't. Just stick as many bananas in there as possible. Hopefully people take this out of context, for sure. But I just love it. It's just simplicity, man. You can go to all recipes. Get on down there. You can put your stuff. You can put all that stuff that you can get at where Charles used to work at Vitamin Shop, right? I'm sure Charles knows what the best stuff to put into your peanut butter banana smoothie to recover from your workout, for sure. All right, I stuck a bunch of flaxseed in there. All right, I used to just flaxseed, some protein powder in there as well. Get some nice vanilla flavor. You can do a chocolate version as well. That's fine. All right, these people just stick some honey in there. I stuck a little bit of honey in the past. I don't stick any ice cubes. I think it defeats the purpose. The ice kind of just waters everything down. All right, just make sure your milk is nice and cold, and you won't need any of that ice cube stuff. Right? Just get that milk. Get some bananas broken into chunks. It doesn't matter. It's gonna get all just blended up there anyways, and just get a heaping ton ton of peanut butter and just go to town on this bad boy. I love it, man. Peanut butter, banana, smoothie, milkshake. That's my non-sponsor. All right. Promo code, sucks to be allergic to peanuts. Sheesh. Don't get to enjoy this delightful goodness. Charles, have you had any of this?
Josh Giddey from the land down under is headed to OKC.
Charles, have you made this for yourself in the past or had it?
I have had the nut milk, yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'm weary with my peanut butter, and when it comes to my protein shakes, because it can be too chalky or too thick, and I'm that person. I'm a scooper. If there's any residual thing, I need more of it. And, but I think it's a good bedtime snack. Really, if you want my opinion of what kind of bedtime shake that you need, get a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of like light milk. You don't want to do too much milk because it gets watery. And then bananas. I always like bananas. Bananas for life.
Yep. All right. What do you have for us?
So, fellas, as everybody knows, I have Audible. I listen to my audiobooks. I do it for my long drives. I do it for my workouts. My workouts are intensely longer these days now that I'm fully back in the gym. We're talking about 2.5 hours.
We're on Audible, by the way, everybody. We are.
Oh, we're on Audible too. Yeah. If you want to listen to our dulcet tones and talking about Andrew's love of Nathan Fillion and Sean Connery in The Hunt for Red October, and Francisco love for peanut butter and my love of everything, you can listen to us on Audible. So I listen to a lot of series that come into it. Last time I did the plug for what I listened to on Audible was The Wheel of Time. That was 15 books. I finally finished the Dresden Files. I caught up. The series is not finished. There's still more that Jim Butcher has to do, but I have completed 17 books and 2 side story books along with it. I just finished Battlegrounds about a week ago. So my non-sponsor is the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. Very interesting premise to start with, and then evolves to something else. It takes all the mythologies of the world and just kind of works with it. It originally starts with Harry Dresden, PI wizard. That's right, private investigator wizard. Think about it like Harry Potter without the hard growing pains, but more an Americanized version. There's no Hogwarts kids. There's just, a smart ass who has a staff and a shield bracelet and then a really cool leather duster. Brings in the mythologies of vampires and werewolves and the fairies and the fairy queens and then demons and archangels and all this other stuff. And what originally goes for like the first 4 books as being hired for a job leads you to a lot of stuff that's coming to it. The game changes a lot, I would say, by the time we get to Small Favors or to changes in of itself. But good cast of characters. Harry himself is endearing. He's not perfect. He's not a saint, more sinner than saint at this point, but he's likable. There's some heart to him, even though he does some questionable things and questionable bad things. Good supporting cast too. We love us a little bit of Waldo Butters. I think he's my favorite character. We love us a little bit of Michael Carpenter. We love Kara Murphy. We love Thomas. We love all those people. I love Queen Mab. I'm just saying it. She's a stone cold hearted bee, and she is as Nietzsche can be. Or not Nietzsche, I would say. Machiavellian as Machiavellian can be when it comes to her planning. But it's been a good read. James Marsters does narration for it. He was Spike on Buffy. He's also known as being Piccolo from the horrible Dragon Ball Evolution movie, if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Peace Talks and Battleground came out last year. September for Peace Talks, I think earlier this year for Battlegrounds and Duology. So now I have to wait for book 18, which I think is tentatively titled as 12 months, and then book 19, which is titled Mirror Mirror. I think he's really going to go with final 3 books and then whatever big post-apocalyptic thing. Battleground was kind of a game changer, even though Changes was the first game changer of it to be. But I've enjoyed the series. The books themselves, if you read, are probably around 400 pages long. Audible-wise are probably between an average of 12 to 16 hours, 17 hours. Good narration. And for anybody who listens to audiobooks, you need to have yourself a very, very good narrator to keep you invested for a long period of time, especially when we're talking about 17 books. Recommend to me from my friend Ben. I've enjoyed it. I'm kind of sad that it's over because my Audible credit starts like in 2 days, and now I have to figure out what the hell I want to listen to. Right now I'm listening to Hakakure, because if I'm not listening to any kind of like hot, fantasy, sci-fi, or weird stuff like that, I'll listen to kind of philosophical things going on there, as Francisco knows from me recommending some meditations to him. But lo and behold, Jim Butcher, he has other stuff out too. I haven't listened to them yet. Sometimes you need a break from an author, especially when you're doing 17 books the same way I felt about Jordan, but Robert Jordan's dead, so I don't have to invest into that. But maybe I'll touch on some of Jim Butcher's other sci-fi stuff if I wanted to. I know he does the Everlast Wing Cut or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen it. I remember Friday Days at Barnes and Noble. I will look into it. But I've enjoyed it. I would really like the books out now. Please, Jim, if you're listening to us, follow us on Twitter, FJO. Well, you're not that anymore. Boy, follow Francis and say Charles the True, Damn Free Hole, Sports Goofs.
It's in the description, don't worry.
Yeah, well, it's in the description. Can you just speed it up? Don't treat me like George R. R. Martin treats me, because even though I know Game of Thrones is over, I'm still waiting for Winds of Winter, and I'm still waiting for A Dream of Spring. I need to really know how you want to be judged, George. So that's my plight to you. That's my plight to you, Jim Butcher. Don't make me wait 10 years. I'm getting old, man. I'm knocking on heaven's door as we speak. Jim Butcher, thanks for the Dresden Files. Dresden Files are my non-sponsor. Promo code Hell's Bells.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that is it for that. Let's see. Let's get Andrew back in. He hasn't been on in a while, and I think we have a subject that he could go on and on about a little bit, right? Right, Andrew?
I assume I know where you're going with this.
All right. So, speaking of CFB revamped, there's some imaginary
revamped.
Yeah, there's some imaginary matchups that one had to do beforehand, but now it's about to become real life, Andrew, for your UCF Knights.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. As Julie Andrews once said, the beginning is a very good place to start. Hold on, Golden State Warriors. Let's see if they pick up anyone interesting. Oh, by the way, Charles, how did they play this past year?
Trash.
Yeah, I mean they got eliminated, but
everybody got hurt though. I'm gonna give them like a little bit of leeway.
The NBA tried to get them into the playoffs, but
Jonathan Kuminga from the NBA G League Ignite, born in the Democratic Republic of Congo and left at, I think it's at age 13. Grew up watching Kobe Bryant highlights at local internet cafes.
Oh my God, they're still beating the Kobe dead horse. My God, just enough of this.
He wasn't here for the last couple of shows,
God.
so you gotta give him some backstory.
Andrew,
basically everything Kobe Bryant. Just call it the Kobe Finals.
ESPN keeps dragging out Kobe's corpse to talk about it every single damn time, and I am sick of it, my friend.
Wait. Can we bring that into wrestling from Roman Reigns? It's like missionary position every single night. You guys need to watch that Roman Reigns clip if you have not, because the context is lost on everybody.
Every chance they have a chance, every time they could have even a sliver of a chance to talk about Kobe Bryant, they talk about him. My God, he's been dead for more than a year. Please, just leave the man alone. Okay, I'm okay with the memes on Twitter. All right, I think that perfectly honors his memory. But ESPN, every time, man, have they talked about any dead relatives? We haven't
have the sound on.
Yeah, no. Well, no, that's usually tailor-made for the NFL draft. They keep talking about dead relatives there. Anyways, where were we? Oh yeah, UCF. Here we go.
Well, I'll get to UCF in a second. So what started all of this is the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas at Austin have decided to join the Southeastern Conference, the SEC. Holy shit. No one saw this coming at all. Although apparently it's been going on behind the scenes for at least 6 months. They are technically currently in what's called the Big 12 Conference, which the Big 12 Conference is exclusively made of teams from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Iowa. I'm trying to think if there's any others. No, just those 4 states. They are... Well,
what about Nebraska?
They're in the Big 10 now.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They used to be in the... Thank you. Yes, I forget. Thank you, BU. I forget about West Virginia because they're all the way the hell out in West Virginia. They're
It doesn't
nowhere
make any
close to the
sense.
rest of the team. So I mean, we kind of figured it would happen eventually, but not necessarily right now. Yeah, the SEC is, unless you've got your head up your ass or don't know anything about college football, is the best conference in college football right now.
No.
Allegedly.
Boo.
ACC gonna
Boo this man.
You've got Florida, Alabama,
Even boo.
LSU,
Boo.
LSU.
Trash.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember, but I think all but I think 2 or 3 national championships, consensus national championship. We have another pick.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're the Orlando
You guys
Magic.
went on a
Come
fire sale. You got rid of
Yeah.
when you got rid of Vucevic.
Yeah. Gordon, all these guys, man.
This is my first time seeing the draft order. So, but anyway, I'm going to try and not get distracted. So the Big 12 is the remnants of the old Southwest Conference, the Big 8 Conference. That's a lot of historic teams, SMU, Houston, back when both teams were national powers. You know, if you all have heard of the Pony Excess, 30 for 30, the death penalty that was put on SMU, that's the era we're talking about, 80s and 90s. So it's a historic conference. They had a lot of great rivalries, but really the only 2 big teams left from that conference are Oklahoma and Texas. And they were really the ones buoying the conference because kind of like you have Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, or who is here's a good analogy. Early era Cavaliers. When did they go to the finals? 07, 08?
07.
07.
Yeah.
The fact that I know that is amazing. So it was basically LeBron and the Cavs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He dragged the dead weight of that team into the finals.
With Booby Gibson.
That's basically Oklahoma and Texas. It's those 2 and then everyone else. That conference is nothing without Oklahoma and Texas. So the fact that Oklahoma and Texas are leaving is basically the death knell of that conference. Because in order to host for a few reasons, one of which is in order to host a conference championship, you need to have a minimum of 10 teams. They now have 8. And I say now because it's a foregone conclusion. It'll be official tomorrow when Oklahoma and Texas officially accept the offer from the SEC to join. So it's killing that conference. It's adding even more money into the SEC because basically any teams of any sort of relevance in the South belong to the SEC now. You have a few outliers. You've got Clemson, I guess Florida State.
Yeah.
At least
For now.
recently. At least recently.
Okay, within the last decade, yes.
Well, not the last decade, because you guys won the national championship in 2013.
That's what I said, within the last decade.
Frogs.
Within the last decade, that's within.
Within the last 5 years, since Jimbo left, you guys have been a shit show.
Yeah, well, Willie
Willie
Taggart.
Last year with Mike Norvell.
He's trying.
Is he trying? Absolutely. Is he being successful? No. but in his defense, Jimbo basically salted the earth on his way out of town. So it's going to take a while to rebuild to the level that you were in the early 2010s. You know, the Wenke era.
Yeah. Okay. So let's keep going here. It was you're talking about an era when my sister went to the school.
My main point being, almost all of the major teams in the Southeast belong to the SEC. So in 2012, the SEC expanded out to the West, and they added Texas A&M and Missouri. Texas A&M is a huge rival of Texas, to the point where in Texas A&M's unofficial fight song, they actually talk about goodbye to old Texas University, so long to the orange and the white, and talk about sawing varsity's horns off because Texas are the Longhorns. So those teams hate each other. And it was so sad when the SEC left, because that is a huge, famous rivalry that went away. But now it's going to be back, which is really exciting. But at the expense of basically all of the wealth in college football is essentially now in 4 conferences. And the Big 12 is going to die. The question is, how badly is it going to die? Because there are rumors that the American Athletic Conference is going to poach anywhere from 3 to 8 of the remaining teams. There's a possibility that West Virginia joins the Atlantic Coast Conference, ACC, and then the ACC will try to pick up Notre Dame as a full member instead of just an associate member in all but football, to bring them to 16. There's people that think that the Big Ten is going to try and poach Iowa State and Kansas to get them to 16. There's people that think the Pac-12 is going to expand to try and get 16 and pick up Oklahoma State. It's a madness. The last time this sort of madness happened was in 2010, the early 2010s, when you had a huge amount of conference realignment. That's where you got the Texas A&M, the Missouri, TCU and Utah left lower conferences to go to bigger conferences. That was a huge mess. That's where UCF got from Conference USA to the American Athletic Conference. So it took another decade. Like BU said, they weren't expecting it to happen right now, and there were no indications whatsoever that this was going to happen. Usually you'll hear some rumblings. You'll hear, oh, this might happen, they're testing the waters, maybe the Big 12 will expand. The Pac-12 is interested in this team. There was nothing on the radar about this. As much as I hate the move because it's just concentrating more money and more power in one conference, got to give props to OU, UT, and the SEC for keeping it so quiet. It was brilliant. It's nothing short of government level secrecy. Props to them. But it's going to be interesting because the outlook of college football is going to be changed once again, and this is another monumental move. There's some people think UCF might go to the ACC. Who knows? That would be awesome.
Interesting.
I would be thrilled with that because that's not a lot of travel distance for us. It keeps us on the East Coast. Plus, we have 2 natural rivals in FSU and Miami. So I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot up in the air. The only thing certain right now is that Oklahoma and Texas are gone.
Okay.
And the rest is going to play out in the days, the weeks, and the months ahead. Maybe even the years. I mean, it took about 3 years for all of the conference realignment in the early 2010s, the last round, to really kind of shake out and settle down. But There's the possibility that Oklahoma and Texas will leave for the SEC as soon as 2022. They might take as long as 2025. Who knows? So it's going to be interesting. It's again, I'm kind of half and half on this because as much as I hate losing all these rivalries, I mean, you've got at least the Red River rivalry between Oklahoma and Texas will remain, but the Bedlam series between OU and Oklahoma State is gone. Texas has rivalries to some extent with Texas Tech. These are rivalries going back decades, and now they're no more. As much as I hate all of that, it is fascinating to see all of this break down. It's a real shit show. Hold on. It also doesn't help that much of the speculations based on what the individual schools would like to happen in terms of landing spot, not why Conference X would even be interested in Conference Y. Yeah, I mean, the reason that people, including myself, bring up the Kansas and Iowa State to the Big Ten is because the Big Ten Conference basically there's something called the AAU. I forget what it stands for, but it's a bunch of high-profile research universities. University of Virginia is there. Stanford, I think. There's about 30-something schools that are part of this. And basically, one of the requirements for getting into the Big Ten is being a member of the AAU. The only two schools relatively close to the Big Ten's footprint are Iowa State and Kansas. So there's a possibility that they'll pick them up. I don't know. Thank you. Association of American Universities, 66. I swear, BU he's like our fact checker, kind of like Tony Reale was on Pardon the Interruption back in the day. I love it. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any questions, guys? Because I don't have much more to add, but if you have a particular question, I can add to that.
Nothing more from me.
I would just say, how do you feel this is going to work when the expansion, the football playoffs come into play? Now
that's going to be fascinating. And I know, BU, that Notre Dame, it's more complicated than just that, but in the terms of just wanting to get the majority of information out in like 2 seconds. But anyway, that's going to be interesting because the expansion of the playoff, it's now 12 teams, 6 of which are the top-ranked conference champions. That much won't change because, and in some ways, I'd say it hurts Oklahoma and Texas, especially Oklahoma, because Oklahoma owned the Big 12 in football. They've been their conference champion, God knows how long, how many times in the past few years, but it's been a lot. So now they have a lot of real competition to deal with in order to get that guaranteed, if you will, slot as a conference champion. But I mean, they're going to make a ton more money. So money talks, bullshit walks. I mean, it will help them in the sense of getting an at-large because their competition is going to go up significantly. So, a 10-2 season in the SEC is infinitely more valuable than a 10-2 season in the Big 12, even if you don't win the conference championship. So it helps in that regard. I think what'll happen is, well, I don't think the Big 12 is going to exist anymore. It's just going to be picked to death by several of the conferences. So that'll reduce, only 3 teams will be out in the cold. Conference champions will be out in the cold for conference spots. I don't know. It's kind of like what Run DMC said. It's tricky, tricky, tricky.
Are you effing kidding me, NBA draft? Now they're showing Kobe Bryant getting drafted. Ugh, I just can't, ESPN. I can't. Stop it.
Will make you feel better.
What?
Allowing the shit talk of the one who worshipped Kobe so much that he couldn't fill his shoes for my coronation.
Andrew, we've been waiting for this for a week. Oh man, Charles has been waiting for this for like the entire NBA playoffs.
For the entire year, when you think about it. Play my Halo music. Let me get my staff and my crown.
Oh man.
So apologies for kind of the ramble, but it's
massive news.
It's absolutely fascinating. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few weeks.
Of Big 12 and Big 10? Because that's the only thing I could think of, because you lose all those licensing rights and everything like that.
But I will say this, though. The thing that I was not expecting was the AAC, the American, to be the aggressor in this situation. If anything, the general thought was the Big 12 is going to poach, let's say, 4 teams, let's say 3 to 4 teams from the American to bring it back to 12, or a minimum of 2, probably up to 4, just to bring them up to 10 or 12. But they're in such a disadvantage right now in terms of the strength of their conference that apparently the aggressor is not them, but the American Athletic Conference, which I was not expecting. No one was expecting that, because our commissioner, and I said this on Twitter, I will take back everything bad I said about him if he pulls this off, which in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have said everything bad, but if he's somehow able to poach that conference, I would take back a lot of what I said about him, because he has been a shit commissioner for the majority of his time. He didn't defend us when we were national champions in 2017. He's done fuck all, except, basically keeping the conference alive. But, in terms of just keeping it alive, he hasn't really done that much. So if he's somehow able to poach teams from the power conference instead of the other way around, good on him. Good on him. And that would be great for us, because the downside of leaving a conference is you have to pay an exit fee. So if we're able to pull those teams in and essentially turn it into the new power conference without having to lose money, beautiful. There's a possibility. The good news is we're partners with ESPN, so they'll maybe grease the wheels a bit. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, man.
Yes.
I'm listening.
So, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. You haven't been on in a month. They're letting you go. Are you lagged out, dude? Because you are not responding.
Not yet.
Oh, okay. It seemed like you were lagged out a bit. Okay.
I'm excited. I hate this, but I'm excited.
I hate this, but I'm excited. I like that reaction. Okay. Let's see. We are close to the 2-hour mark. This is going to be long anyways, and I'm going to stay for the rest of this draft. How are we on? What pick are we on? My God.
Pick 11.
How? This is the same thing that happened last year. And I'm like, how is this not going any faster? Oh, man. Well, let's see. So that was the big thing that went down. Because we're getting pressed for time at some point. We do need to talk about what happened last week, Charles. I think it's time.
Is it my coronation?
I think it's time. I think it's time to put the Euro, put that lamb crown on your top of you right now. All right, lamb. Put some lettuce there. No onions of mine, by the way. Just some tomatoes. That tzatziki sauce. Just drip it all over Charles right now. Just drip him in tzatziki at this point.
It's just like that Skittles commercial of the bride and the groom, and it's just raining on the Skittles on her. It's raining on the tzatziki sauce and gyros on me. Because of our baklava baller, boys. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Man of the people.
Of the people.
Much like the Greek gods. All right, the Greek gods weren't perfect. They were just like us human beings, and that's why they're relatable.
He puts the gladiator, but instead of Hercules, it's Yannis. I have to make it go with the sing-song motion. It feels so good to be right, because this entire playoffs, my humble people, this entire playoffs, you guys try to force me pie that I knew was poison. And I'm a real true king where I do not put anybody else to try my food. I have a strong constitution, just like my man Giannis Antetokounmpo. Unlike certain players on a team that you all try to convince me otherwise, to say that they were going to play outstanding, that it was going to be year of the old man turning back the clock. The year of a new budding superstar that's going to be the next Kobe Bryant and Devin Booker.
We are not having the Kobe beef this week.
How many? I'm on a diet. I want some lamb, not some moo. And I just say when it comes to Devin Booker, he's a boo-boo. Everything. And I remember we were going back and forth when I was trying to decide whom was I going to root for in a finals that I did not care about. But, like the romance movies, like when Harry Met Sally, they were toxic and not meant for each other at all, but they find out that maybe they were meant to be together. That was like me. That was like me and Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks. You swept us. We lost to the winning team. That's perk number one. Perk number two, technically, you built and won a team without the super team, so that's perk number two, even though you paid the salaries of a super team. And that's something I want to focus on here. You paid money as if you were building a super team, but the two other guys that you put the investments in were just not super. I will say Chris Middleton earned a little bit of respect, but there was parts where he was just, flanking out, brother. Franking out. Drew Holiday going 4 for 20 and playing good defense is not an equalizer. It does not balance out that whole other team that come up. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, humble with the people, humble with the reporters, want to be his own guy, does not have a punchable face. Good guy. Even when he was winning, crying with Chris Middleton. And then you had the people who do have a punchable face. Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Chris Paul, who's basically saw Mortal Kombat too many times on HBO Max and is bicycling kick defenders and getting the fouls in his favor. Devin Booker, who was just fouling everybody, not getting called out because the narrative was that Milwaukee couldn't win. Because, of course, Adam Silver and the NBA folk don't worship the Greek gods. They worship the Romans. They worship knockoffs of the Greek gods. Come on, Mars? Mars is Aries, man. What's going on here? But we know who our Zeus is. We know who our Hercules. So I say I took a bite of your humble pie because I share my bread. I give you my wine. I let you under my roof. It's the old God manner. But I will not eat it all because I didn't trust it. Because if me and Giannis's love is like Harry met Sally, my love for Phoenix or my support of Phoenix would be like Ross and Rachel were friends. Rachel never loved Ross. Plain simple. She used him. Ross is pathetic. And it sounds like Phoenix, right? It sounds exactly like Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton, he disappeared. Monty Williams couldn't get his guys out. Devin Booker, a couple games he wasn't playing well, and then Booker was gonna book. He was making stats, he was making shots, but Chris Paul turned the ball over. Look at that cohesion, and
let's take a look at the. I got Game 6's stat line right here. Okay, look at this. All right, so Devin Booker, yeah, okay, he scored 29 points in 46 minutes, but 6 turnovers?
Six
Right.
turnovers.
Minus 15 on the floor.
Can't play defense.
All right. Chris
Ball
Paul.
wasn't moving.
All right, he scored his 26. He tried.
He tried.
3 turnovers, but very crucial one at the end of the game. Minus
35,
8.
playing like he's 18.
Yeah, and this just could not. Devin Booker, 36% field goal percentage. All right, no efficiency whatsoever.
And you want me to eat his pie? You want to tell me to speak humble? In the beginning of the season, Andrew, who was I speaking the smack about? Devin Booker. You might as well take this crown from my head, from being the petty king, and give me a book and a staff and call me the preacher, because I preach the gospel of the NBA. Of who is fraudulent and who is trash. Yes, you got to the finals, but you wanna hold up on that? Getting to the finals mean nothing. You know who knows that? LeBron James. How many times did Cavaliers go? Multiple times, but he finally had one. You mentioned it yourself. It's about winning it with all the pieces. We're not here to feel good about coming in second place. You, Andrew, who just had 2 back-to-back championships. How would you feel if you went 2 straight and lost both? Congratulations, you're the Buffalo Bills. Congratulations, you're the Texas Rangers. That's what you get remembered for. And congratulations, Phoenix, when you look like the super team. And everybody was telling me to lick your nuts and eat the humble pie. I said, no, I like baklava for my sweets. With my boy Giannis.
Like Chick-fil-A nuggets.
So, Chick-fil-A nuggets, except we are open on Sundays because Giannis is open every day out of the week. Love it. Love it.
All right. Game 6 stats. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 50 points in 42 minutes. 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 blocks, 64% from the field, by the way. All right. That's almost double what Devin Booker was doing. All right. He made a 3-pointer. All right. 10 defensive rebounds. Plus 10 on the floor. Okay, Drew Holiday, plus 12 on the floor. Chris Middleton, plus 11. Tucker, plus 13. Hey, Brook Lopez, plus 9. Okay. It was happening, folks. It was happening. And, man, it felt good. It felt good to see the NBA script not go according to plan whatsoever. They didn't plan for this. They didn't want this.
When were you sold? When were you sold on Milwaukee?
When I got sick of the NBA continuously stripping the beef off of Kobe's corpse.
Like missionary position. Every
Game 3. By God, the just hamming it up. Look. It's not like, oh, I hate Kobe Bryant. No, I was in Los Angeles when he died. I covered it, man.
You got famous off of it.
Yeah.
You your post.
Yeah, like I was there when it happened, man. And sheesh, the only equivalent I could think of is like if the Pope died in Rome and whatever, and you'd see just swaths of people just coming into frickin' next to the Staples Center every single day, every hour. There's minutes, just man. I had never seen anything like that. So, believe me, I get it. And I get it last year, all right? The Los Angeles Lakers, the bubble, yeah, I'm sure the NBA scripted it the way it wanted to, okay? The Heat could only do so much. They got injured. We would have won if Bam was healthy and Goran was healthy. We would have, all right? We would have, okay? Just saying. At least we would have made it to Game 7. It would have been close. Right. Once again, the NBA. Oh, it's the 13th pick is up. Kobe Bryant was picked 13th. And ESPN is just all over it right now. My God. Enough already, folks. Enough. Now they got Jerry West on here. Anyways.
I feel bad for his family.
Okay. Anyways. That's when I was off. That was like, go Bucks. They won Game 3, and I'm like, go effing Bucks. Let's do it. Let's do it. Milwaukee, you guys haven't won anything since the 70s, or I guess Wisconsin with the Packers. You know, that's who they identify with. All right. You know, regardless of Charles's feelings for Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And my feelings for Christian Yelich. All right. But regardless, yeah, there we go. And Giannis, a man of the people, folks, coming from nothing. He was an immigrant without a state. He was stateless until he was 18 years old because Greece doesn't recognize citizenship upon birth. All right, some countries are like that, some countries are not. So didn't know if he was going to be there, but he is Greek. All right, his family from Nigeria. He was helping fund his dreams and help his family. All right, that wonderful story of him sending money to his family when he was the first year in the NBA, and he accidentally sent them all of his money, and he had no money to get back home, to get a cab or something like that. So he was just running in the cold, and then somebody who recognized him picked him up and dropped him off. Those tweets I sent you, that him when that little girl gave him a bunch of her drawings of him, and he hugged her, and she was crying. He was like, "Oh my God, how sweet this man! This humble upon humble superstars." All right, that man knows the struggle, real struggle. He isn't one of these prep kids. All right, he's real struggle and.
With his 4 brothers.
Yeah, and
One's getting drafted tonight.
Yeah, exactly. The whole family. All now, 3 of them with rings now. The man trying to get Chick-fil-A for life. Listen, man, if I did something of equal, just monumental task, yeah, I'd be all over Taco Bell. Please, Doritos Locos Tacos for life. That's what I would be doing. He is living the dream. He's trying, man. I can only respect a man. All right, Chick-fil-A, yes, I say you are overrated, but your nuggets are good. I don't mind them. All right, it's just chicken sandwiches. They're the ones that are overrated. You know, it's hard to screw up chicken nuggets, but that's a conversation for another day. Anyways, Giannis, man, bravo. Well then, I think, yeah, that's it, man. We everything was justified in the end. And I did have Euros the next day, by the way.
I had it today.
Yeah. So, Andrew, you have yet to get your Euros. All right.
Correct.
Yeah. Arby's sells them. If you want to get some, you can try and find an authentic place somewhere in Miami. So, there we go. Anyways, where are we? Man, I had a lot planned for this, but I don't know how long you guys are going to last, because I can keep going. But you
I
guys
may not last much longer.
Okay, Andrew. Well, how much longer do you think you will be here for? Well, we can do something that you want to talk about before you leave.
Well, I haven't eaten yet, so probably now.
Okay. Yeah, we just talked about Chick-fil-A nuggets and all that stuff, but all right, Andrew, if you're gonna go, then
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure being back.
Yay.
I look forward to being back on more episodes and not any more interruptions.
For reals.
From the stuff that truly matters.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Andrew.
Crapping on Devin Booker.
Yay.
Right about it.
Peace.
Ciao. Well, Charles, I guess before, let's see, how long are you going to be able to last here?
I'd probably say till 10. We
Stay
can do
till
some.
10. Okay.
The cage will not be long because of my pettiness.
All right, so I will have one. Let me talk about this one thing. I do have an uncultured swine that I want to talk about, and then we can head on over to the cage because I think that'll transition us over. We're just above the 2-hour mark, 2 hour 9 minutes. So I think we'll get to that. I had 2.5 hour show. It's kind of our average nowadays. So let me head on over. Let me find that graphic. Where is that thing, man? Sheesh. I haven't used this one in a bit. Okay, Uncultured Swine, where we talk about international teams. Actually, this team isn't international. But I do not know anything about this. Charles, I took in a soccer game over the weekend. I know, right? Major League Soccer. I went with our good old buddy Dougie Souls. to check out our local soccer team, Inter Miami CF. The CF stands for Club de Football because they branded themselves very heavily on Hispanic culture here in South Florida. I do like their color scheme, and they are the team that I am highlighting today. And this is kind of like my review of the experience, really. So Inter Miami CF, there we are, there we go. Yeah, their colors are black, pink, and white. A little touch of gray. Very unique color scheme. It actually works really well, to be honest. It really pops. It's a really great color scheme. And probably one of the most unique in sports. So I give props to the look, but I don't give props to their team store. And I'll tell you why, Charles. $50 for a hat.
No.
So their team store, much like a lot of team stores all over North American pro sports, is run by fanatics. Okay, NHLs, NBAs. I think all of them are baseball, basketball, and MLS too. So all of them are run by fanatics, and so I was kind of. I told Doug. When we were getting there, like, I think I'll get a hat, right? I got a hat about everybody else. I got a Dolphins hat, man, and I passively love and hate them at the same time. So I could get a interim, local spirit type of thing. I don't know. I'll get
You're
a hat
guy.
Yeah, and I'm a hat guy, so it's fine. I've got a Houston Astros hat, okay? But that was before I knew. That was before we all knew. But I've been wearing it lately again, so Anyways, walk into the store. I saw one hat that they had there. I'm like, oh, this looks nice. I might get this one. $41. $41. They're at the Marlins team store. Some of the customized hats, they'll sell it for $41. Like, okay, that's I don't mind. Some of the limited edition stuff, like their City Connect ones, the Sugar Kings one, that was $40. I'm like, okay, kind of a special event hat. I get it. I get the $5 markup for that stuff. I've been in this game for quite a while. All right, I've got like 30 plus hats, so I know what I'm looking for. I know the game. So I'm like, they gotta have one of the $35 fitteds, right? That's usually the base price, $35, and here we go. So I look over to this hat. I'm like, okay, let me find it. $50, Charles. $49.99.
Most you would spend on apparel, because a hat is not the one that it's in my $50 range.
No, Doug tried to buy a scarf because that's like a soccer thing, or you buy a scarf. $30 for a scarf.
No, thank you.
We're in Florida. I got a scarf for free at the Panthers game, and you actually need one in that place. So, $30 for a scarf. No, thank you. Unfortunately, I didn't buy any Inter Miami CF gear. I was wearing my Dwayne Wade Miami Floridians jersey because it fit theme along with the matching hat. So I was in the spirit of the soccer event. Major gripe with getting to Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, which is where the team plays. Me and Doug got there early, okay? We got there with the intention of being there for around game time, more or less. So we were there before game time, because we had the schedule. Game time was at 7:30. So we were going to get there at 7, half an hour before. Okay, park, whatever. Team's the worst team in the league, so we just thought it wouldn't be that full, and it wasn't. It wasn't a sold-out crowd. It was. They said I think there were 14,000 there, but it seats 18,000. Okay, it was a good crowd for that day, but it took us an hour to get through traffic near the stadium. We were about less than a mile away from it, and there was an hour of traffic just to get in because there is only one gate for us peasants, Charles. All right, we couldn't get the VIP parking, so that's peasants.
That's a lot of Rona in a line right there in downtown Miami.
Well, this is Fort Lauderdale, but
Lauderdale, all right.
But no, we were in our cars. Charles.
Oh,
trying to wrap onto Commercial Boulevard to get into the street that leads to the gate to the stadium.
No, thank you.
No, thank you whatsoever. They tell you the gates open at 4:30. There's a reason why. You got to show up early if you're going to that stadium. I don't know how they did it for spring training when the Yankees were there and the Orioles were there. That's where they used to play. I have no idea, but that's one major gripe there. We'll see what David Beckham does. The game experience, it was a 1-1 game. We left early because we thought, man, if the traffic getting in was that bad, imagine getting out. So, and we had work the next day. It was a Sunday. But the game experience was fine. There's not really anything flashy. There's no in-between, like, entertainment between, like, the halves, all that stuff. And I was just there just to see the stadium. I got some, like, yuca chips or whatever. I didn't really eat any of the food. They had some food options, but you can tell that this is still a very temporary setup that they have for their stadium. They're still hoping to get one in Miami proper, but it's been a few years now and they still haven't gotten it, so they might just want to settle down in Fort Lauderdale if I were them and just open up some new gates, fix up some roads, and go there. But it's an okay experience. We paid like $30 for our tickets on StubHub.
Fair.
Yeah, it's okay. I could be compelled to go again, but the team is awful. It was 1-1. I guess the soccer was a little bit better in person than it is on TV.
That's typical soccer, though, I think.
Yeah,
well, with any sport.
Yeah, but I guess I was a little more engaged just because I was in the spirit of it. They have that group of supporters that were really into it. This is the worst team in the league, but those people were partying all night long, and I get that. I can jive with that. All right, as a Florida Panthers fan and a Miami Marlins fan, I can jive with people who are really hardcore till the end, especially with how terrible our teams are. So I liked it. Your team was established last year. That's when they started out. I don't know anybody on the team, so I have no idea about roster alumni. I know David Beckham is there, and that they just play on the dead grounds of old Lockhart Stadium and the old Fort Lauderdale Stadium that the Yankees and Orioles used to use for spring training. And yeah, Inter Miami CF. I guess go see them once, just do it. And if you really like soccer, I guess it's a good time. There were a lot of kids there and stuff. Yeah, there you go. That's my review. It's okay.
I don't think you sold me on it.
Charles, it's just the stadium is like. You remember FIU Stadium?
Sadly.
Doug basically said this is basically like FIU Stadium. That was how it felt.
There's a lot of sadness right there.
You know, but it's actually nice. It's nice. I think it's nicer than FIU Stadium, slightly nicer.
Yeah,
but
because, my tuition isn't as much as the city of Miami and Lauderdale, so yeah.
But I like everything seems, unless you have like a VIP ticket or something and sit like a VIP section, I don't think you. I didn't really see any food. I mean, there was some food, but I didn't really see any options that were like super fancy. You could get like at a baseball stadium or even at the Heat games or the Panthers games. It's a temporary venue. You can tell it's a temporary venue, and they don't really want to build it up any more than they already have. Look, they made the place nice from what used to be there. It was, garbage, just desolate stadium that was used to be there. But I don't know. You might want to wait. Maybe next year. Maybe Miami will have an actual answer as to whether they'll make a stadium for it or give them the land for the stadium. And if not, they may just have to permanently settle in Fort Lauderdale. And then they can build it up and make it a nice venue. But yeah, Charles, I can't see you like enjoying it, to be honest.
Okay, so here's my thing about soccer. And for background, I'm Argentinian Colombian. So you guys would think that's the lifeblood. It is not when you're born in New York and your parents are from New York, even though they came to the country, and your grandparents were basically just trying to survive. We live for that culture. But then when you have certain extended families that got into it, because it's always the extended families that are trying to get you into it, and then what you're seeing is just people kicking a ball for 90 minutes straight and having these low-end games. You're like, oh, but Charles, isn't just like hockey? It's a field, it's things going on, all these people. Hockey is enjoyable. People can beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Soccer, football, there's a lot of the fake.
They're the ones that corrupted the NBA.
They made so many Chris Pauls out of it.
Yeah.
The goalies are good, sure, but I'm weird. I never got the idea of why you have to kick the ball if your whole point is to go into the net, like your goalie can grab it. So that's when it just transitions to the logical game, which is rugby.
Yeah, exactly.
Because seriously, your rules of the game, like, all right, guys, no one can touch this ball with their hands except for the goalie. And if you touch it, you're penalized. I'm like, who made this? A 5-year-old at their birthday party? That's always how it felt. I always felt that. If I offend anybody, what I'm gonna say.
This is the uncultured swine segment where we, at the end of it, we are still uncultured swine. We haven't been cultured by the end of it.
We're not blissfully ignorant. We've been educated. We still think it's lame. So understand this concept. But I always felt that
I can't even get into Mario Strikers, man.
I like strikers, but I feel like people who like soccer are the same equivalent of the poor kids who are kicking a can in the street. We've all been there. I get it. We had to kill 30 minutes before mom and dad came back from getting smokes. I get you. But I never saw the appeal of it to fall in love with it. I always felt soccer should be 45. Oh, it's a Doug Trio. I always feel like that soccer should be 45 minutes less, or football should be 45 minutes less. And then part of my real hatred of it, and it's not hatred, but dislike of it, not want to watch it, is there's too many leagues going on. I literally don't know what I'm following. CONCACAF, Euro, Liga, La Liga, all this other stuff. I'm like, and then there's dudes who are trading the same players to different leagues and conferences. I'm like, this is complicated.
Yeah, they got relegation where like your team can be in the top tier league, and then they can, like, if they suck, they move down to the lower league and they have to work their way back up. Could you imagine that here with like Major League Baseball? And this is why, like, some people were saying, like, for hockey or baseball or even basketball, if they had relegation, I'm like, so you're telling me my city built a $750 million stadium and now we're going to be in AAA? Hell no. Yeah. That ain't happening down here.
I can't get behind it. I'm a simple man. I don't have a big mind. The law degree, anybody could be a lawyer. Trust us. Us in the profession, we can tell you anybody could be a lawyer.
Yeah. There's a lawyer snorting crack right now.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing that... Well, it's not us. The thing that cracks
probably my ex-employer.
Probably an ex-employer. The only thing that I find entertaining about soccer or football is actually just the announcers, because they have the passion. I appreciate the cardio. I appreciate the endurance. You know, the same way I look at that with not really baseball players, but with football players and some basketball players. Like, damn, you take care of your body.
I will say
excellent conditioning.
I will say, look, and actually, let's see if I can see the highlights from this. This is the game that I went to. We could play in the background, but I got into it. All right, I did get into it. I you know, you're in there, you're in the spirit of it. It's like when I take people to a hockey game, it's their first time. You know, they get into it. You start to figure it out, and like, okay. I was asking Doug because he watches more of it than I do. Like, hey, we were probably back here in the back left and beginning of there if you could see it. But like I got into it. It was pretty. There were some like close chances, and I can see why people get excited about. Oh, they had a chance. But if I'm like just waiting for those chances that are so rare, then my God, man, that's just way too, man. It's too much of a tease to go out for like 90
hockey,
minutes.
Where hockey has more controlling of the men pursuing the goal, versus the soccer where the ball just gets lost everywhere.
Yeah, or in baseball, you get baseball. I guess you can have the kind of the same equivalent of chances, right? Where you have a guy on third or a guy on second, one out maybe, and okay, you guys have a shot of bringing them in. But at least it's not so few and far between, unless your pitcher's dealing. I get it with baseball. Just the constant 1-0, 1-1. Oh, and then of course the ties. I need a resolution by the end of it.
Thank you.
I need this to end.
That too.
All right, me and Doug left when it was 1-0, and then when we left, and then like I checked the score on Twitter while we're driving back, and he's like, and I'm like, well, they tied it. He's like, what? I'm like, yep. As soon as we left, they tied it.
See, I felt like you maybe have created, this is going to lead off to a different thing, but I feel like you did the ultimate sin in sports, which was leave early within arm's reach.
I mean, look, given the traffic that we went through.
I get it.
Yeah, given the traffic we went to get in. Yeah, no. For real. Like we were so disheartened by that traffic. Like Doug
BU,
was
a tie is not a result at the end of the day.
exactly. That's why
It's a conclusion,
yeah.
but it's a bad conclusion.
The NHL got rid of them for a reason, to appeal more to us, heathen Americans. All right, to get into the sport. Yeah, people hate the shootout, but we also love unlimited overtimes during the playoffs. And yeah, but here it was just a 1-1. That was it for the game. There's the one goal that we did see, so that was an exciting moment for sure. But it just doesn't have the same feel as like a 0-0 score between two hockey teams. The goalies are just standing on their heads for both teams, and you get that one past the goalie, and it's like, oh my god, because there's way more chances in hockey. There's just way more opportunities to see it. Or in baseball, or the same thing too. So there you go. That's it. That's my review. I'm still uncultured a bit with soccer, so there you go. All right, Charles. I think that's enough of that. I think we shall head on over to the cage.
All right, and you're going to see how short and sweet it is this week. Welcome, everybody, to your weekly TruePlex, The Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a fight. It's a stage fight. It's a poetry emotion. It's a ballet. It's a story. It's a soap opera. It's about men and women trying to chase championships, attain legacies, build their legacy, be something that's relevant to this world instead of being a jobber, being the holy, piss out of each other. And wrestling sometimes is also just giving the finger to the man. Yeah, everybody can get behind that story. That's what we're going to be doing probably for the next month of the cage, as I really try to deminimize and circumcise the power Vince McMahon has on my show, on my time. The problem is, though, he's got 3 major shows during the week that I kind of have to watch, kind of don't have to watch, right? And that's the hard part. And even though I watch AEW, I watched a little bit last night, that's going to kind of be the topic of appeal. I don't watch Impact religiously. New Japan, it comes and goes, and some stuff happened over in New Japan with Summer Struggle that, life happens. Yeah. And I don't watch Ring of Honor. I keep up with it. So it's like...
Yeah, Ring of Honor, like even like, it's like after a Marlins game, they'll have a Ring of Honor match, maybe like on a Saturday. I have no idea. I don't know when they do their stuff. It's like, oh, that's happening.
They're there. Yeah, they're there. We don't watch it. They're doing some stuff, but it's never been. It's just been bad. I think there's someone who suffered the most from the pandemic. But as you know, show goes on, life goes on, everything goes on. What can I start us with here? Let's go with Impact. So, as you know, when we last left off last week, Jay White, never Open champion from New Japan. All the other promotions except for WWE are basically doing the Forbidden Door. It's open. Everybody's cross-branding. New Japan, Jay White, what's his role? He's the leader of the Bullet Club, the faction that is probably most famous in New Japan that peels over to American culture. It's what led to the success of the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega, even Hangman Page, because they were part of the Bullet Club and now they're part of the Elite. So Jay White comes down to Impact, basically telling Kenny and the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson, OG Bullet Club, basically saying, hey, you guys are has-beens. You guys have basically, he says he's coming there for Dave Finlay because they have a match at Summer Resurgence August 4th for New Japan for the Never Openweight Championship. But he's kind of saying, you guys, you left us. You think you're hot stuff. You can come back to it. Now that's not what's going to happen. So he's kind of feuding with him there. I like this for Jay to kind of put Jay on a little bit more of a promotional appeal. You got to remember with New Japan Wrestling, they're more wrestling, telling the story. They don't have the entertainment aspect. So for him to be able to work the mic, work with a crowd, the problem is Impact is such a small crowd that's limited in there. They don't get a lot of ratings or reviews. You only know these guys if you're invested in the kind of the indies or alternative wrestling, or if you listen to our show every Tuesday and hear The Cage with me. That's how you figure out some guys. I've grown to like Jay White. Before, I wasn't too much of a fan of him because I felt Gato, the booker for New Japan, was really trying to push him on there when I wasn't about it, per se. I wasn't feeling it. You know what I mean? It happens. It's when people are trying to stuff it down your throat. I feel like Gabe from The Office when he's telling Andy, shut up about the sun. That's how I felt at times about Jay White. But as the years went on, the matches progressed, you really see the high quality of him. And I do think he's going to be the guy who takes the title from Shingo Takagi after he loses his Never Openweight Championship. To Dave Finlay? Maybe, but there's some other stuff that you can work with there. But so Impact, what do we know what's going on there? Kenny Omega's still your Impact champion. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with that. I don't know what the big plan is. Right now, what they're really trying to do is put the X Division Championship as their forefront. Maybe they'll have Josh Alexander be the one who takes it. Why not? He'll be Mr. Josh Double Belt. And you can have him, after he takes the Impact title from Kenny, just kind of relinquish the X Division title. Now you can kind of have this, top down a renovation of that mid card. But it's kind of weird because I have not been a fan of the Forbidden Door being open, not because I don't want cross brand injury matches, but because if it comes at the expense of the talent that's already existing or at the belittling of the main championships, I think that kind of hurts because for Impact, you haven't had one, but you have had two titles that have been affected severely. You've had Kenny take the main title away when he beat Rich Swanson, and then you had Finn Juice, Dave Finley, and Juice Robinson take the tag team championships from Carl Anderson and was it Carl Anderson? Yeah, I think it was Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. So you've had two focal point championships kind of broadcasted away. So what does that tell us, Francisco? Right? Maybe your titles aren't as important. It has to be somebody else that's not even signed to your brand taking your title. That's kind of weird, right? That's as if we had Kyler Murray go from playing football and he went to Oakland, and I think his position was being a pitcher, right? If memory serves me correctly, I think I don't know, but he literally pulls a Shohei, but he's going in double ends. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel natural. So I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. Impact, figure it out because I don't think that you're the one winning into it. Going to New Japan. Summer Struggle was over the weekend. A couple of title changes had happened. A couple of days prior Summer Struggle, there was Tetsuya Naito. And we love Tetsuya. And Sonata of Los Ingobernables de Japón. Look at that. One of my Spanish is right, boys. It is right. Defending their championship against the Dangerous Techers of Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. They won it off of them. And then they had the rematch. And what happens is Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi win it. This is weird. This is like hot potatoing tag titles that kind of don't need to be hot potatoed any further because all it had been was hot potatoed in and of itself because of the virus when it was Guerrillas of Destiny losing to Taichi and then Sabre and then getting back and dropping in between. So now they're going to lead into a triple threat between those two aforementioned teams and then the other team that I forgot about because, I mess up two kids. I'm sorry. El Desperado lost his junior heavyweight championship to Robbie Eagles. Some new blood coming in. I think that's because Despy is going to, aside from working and getting called up a little bit to the main weight division, that's what I kind of call it because you're either a junior or you're a heavyweight because I think he'll get some opportunities against Shingo. I think it's more or less so him and his partner can go and focus on the main titles. Kazuka Okada versus Jeff Cobb. A big heavy versus a great technician in the heavy, and then Kazuka, because he never loses, wins. So yeah, that's Sonata. Yeah, that's the thing I love about the New Japan aesthetics is like everybody kind of has like cool attire coming into it. I love it. It's basically like watching a Persona video game in person. The best way I can, because you can't even go to my boy Shingo Takagi. It's true, so I can't like lie about it. Shingo went against Hiroshi Tanahashi. What happened there was originally supposed to be Shingo Takagi versus Kota. Kota has been having bad symptoms. They won't say if it's from the virus or not, but they say it was like asymptomatic pneumonia or something of that nature. This is me reading the dirt sheet, so it can never be fully accurate, so please forgive me. But he couldn't make it. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the John Cena of New Japan, filled in. They had a banger of a match. I gotta watch some clips. Oh, is that Rocky Romero? Yeah, that's Rocky Romero, El Phantasmo. We love us some El Phantasmo. ELP. What's up, dude? I love your headbanger theme song. Follow us on Twitter. Because they defending their IDWGP junior heavyweight tag team titles. You see, I go on these riffs. It happens sometimes when it's my first eyes. Because some of the stuff I read the results, and this is the first time I'm seeing the match in action. When I have a chance, there's just too much wrestling, and that's fine. We'll transition here, but do I want, so eventually they're going to build into it to finish off on Shingo and Hiroshi. That was over, so now Shingo's next opponents could be Evil, who has been the victim of bad booking as a jobber. He beat Tomohiro Ishii, and we love the Soap Pitbull. But Evil's like, hey, we're up next. I'm going against you. They were former stable members before Evil turned on Los Ingobernables and went to the Bullet Club. I wonder how that's going to create an implosion of a three-way fight of the Bullet Club because you have the Jay White leadership, you have the Evil leadership during the time the virus started, and then you have the Kenny Omega Super Elite leadership. Do I want to go AEW or do I want to go WWE? You get to pick, Francisco.
Let's see. What will make you less pissed off to
Let's,
start, and then we
you
can.
know
I don't
what?
know.
To give
How do
Vince
we
the
want
middle
to?
finger,
How do
we're
we
going to go
get?
with
How do we
WWE.
build this bridge and then have a
We're
nice
going to
climax at
end
the end?
every show with AEW or New Japan. That's how it's going to be for a while.
Okay.
WWE. SummerSlam's going to be a good card, man. It's literally going to be good. I hate Vince McMahon so much because it has potential. This is terrible. This is being in a toxic relationship that I have been with this man for 25 years. They are making a profit. They just had their second quarter revenue going on, and they have made like 256 million in this second quarter. This is $1 billion company. If they average out that same amount for the next 2 quarters, they are $1 billion company. Good on you, Vince. I still hate you. What's going on Raw? We're going to have a SummerSlam. Nikki Ash, formerly known as Nikki Cross, ASH standing for Almost Superior, who's now your Raw's Women's Champion, is going against Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I guess, couldn't we just legitimize her championship run by giving her one of the two? We're doing another triple threat for two women that I think the fans and everybody else is just so exhausted from. I'm exhausted from it. Ray and Charlotte were already feuding post WrestleMania, and now they continue. And then you had the cheap cash in for Nikki, and yay, we're glad that Nikki won the title. But part of the problem is, Francisco, with the big four pay-per-views, you always have to kind of show your best talent. That's the thing where people got to realize that's where the sports entertainment component on. You don't go up there as a band that has been around for 20 years and play the entire track off your new album. You give them all the hits, do you not? And that's how it kind of has to be looked like at any kind of the big four wrestling. So that's why I don't poo-poo on Vince McMahon when he's got to bring in the John Cena's, when he's got to even bring in the Bill Goldbergs. I get it, but when it doesn't fit here, I know we love Charlotte. I know Charlotte missed WrestleMania. I understand that. But are we already done with her? I'm already kind of done with her. You know what I mean? Other things are progressing into Raw. Sheamus, Damian Priest. This could be a fun banger match. They do this new thing now on WWE where you just have contenders matches where the contenders beat the champions and they get a title shot in the future. I don't like it. I think it's lazy booking. I think it's not helping build in a realignment, maybe because the roster is so deficient. But whatever. Damian's getting his opportunity to be more than just Bad Bunny's tag team partner from WrestleMania. I like Damian Priest, formerly Punisher Martinez. Follow us on the Twitter. We loves ya. It's good. What else is going on Raw? Here comes the so much. Raw's tag team champions. We're gonna get RK Bro versus AJ Styles. This is gonna be so good. But here we go. Why is Goldberg coming to SummerSlam? Why is it going to be Goldberg and Bobby Lashley? Why is Bobby Lashley murdering people out of pure rage because he hates Goldberg? That's me right now. And let me tell you something. I don't necessarily hate Goldberg. I hate when Goldberg gets called back for title shots he hasn't earned, like he did at Royal Rumble 7 months ago, like he's doing now. None of that stuff makes sense. Goldberg's an attraction. Remember we talk about the greatest hits? And before anybody who's on the internet wrestling community who's throwing me shade, you guys are the same thing when you're calling for CM Punk, who hasn't wrestled in 7 years, who's going to AEW. That's a little bit of a spoiler going on there. You're the same thing as the people who like the Goldberg. And the crowd's still hot for Goldberg, man. They were hot for him last week. But in the back of my head, Francisco, there's always that fear that Bobby could lose to Goldberg. Because remember The Fiend? Remember when he was unstoppable? Remember when he main evented in Saudi Arabia and lost to Goldberg? This is why I have trust issues with Vince McMahon. If that beautiful Black Adonis loses to the 53-year-old biker dad, I have to cancel the Peacock subscription, do I not? I have to just say, hey, the cage is going to be really shortened. The rage would be too much. And if you do that just to give me Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg part cinco? Yeah. No, part cuatro, because they met at a WrestleMania in 2005, I believe. And then they had the Survivor Series. Royal Rumble was an interaction. And then they had the WrestleMania match where Brock won it. Don't kill Bobby Shine. There's a story that's going to be built for it, such as Big E, that I need so much on left right now. Lord, I see what other people get. I want that too. Don't do this to me. I don't mind Goldberg. I don't mind Goldberg killing like a crowd favorite like Elias. That's what you call loving the old beats. You know what I mean? You when you go to a Pearl Jam concert, you can listen to all stuff, but you best be playing even flow. You can go and see, I don't know, Metallica. I love me some Metallica. And they can play their new stuff, but you better play Fade to Black. It's not even Enter Sandman. That's not even the best song. That's just the most popular song. I can't do it with Goldberg winning the championship, especially if he hasn't done anything to earn it. He has 2 matches left on his contract. We'll see. Karrion Kross on Raw. Jeff Hardy has COVID, so that storyline's not continued, obviously, until he's back. So Karrion won against Keith Lee, 2 guys who couldn't afford another loss, and they went against each other. We're booking WWE. Good for Karrion. He won. He made Keith Lee tap out. They have history together. That NXT championship, the first time around that Karrion had it, he beat off of Keith Lee. And then there's Keith Lee. I feel bad for him. I don't know what the hell happened. He came in as like most favorite child in Vince McMahon's eyes. He beat Randy Orton in a pay-per-view match, and now he's doing nothing. The rumors of the storyline, and I kind of get it, but I kind of think it's still stupid. A reason why Karrion lost Francisco is because his valet, Scarlett, who we love you, Scarlett. Love you, Karrion, too. Don't come beat me up, please. That's your real life woman. I'm not trying to hit on anybody here. I just appreciate you just what people love. I miss those. That's Baron Corbin. I will explain for SmackDown for you.
Okay.
Please. That's not being neglected. That's sad Corbin. I love sad Corbin because wrestling is also about what? Character investment. But the idea was she had not appeared originally get called up because what happens is they were going to build a story on Raw because apparently before Jeff got the virus, he was going to wrestle Karrion again and beat Karrion a second time. The idea was that they were going to have Karrion be like, what's going on? And then Scarlett comes up and reignites that fire within him, which I get it, but the guy never lost in NXT. You know what I mean? So that's like just his first loss. So you're going to put on perpetual losses as he's still holding the NXT championship on the main roster. It don't fit well. I didn't like it. Does it fix anything that he beat Keith Lee after losing Jeff Hardy? I don't know. You tell me. It's Jeff Hardy. He's just there to die for me by doing some like very insane stuff and stuff. That's really, we're going to Raw. We're going to go to SmackDown now. That's sad Corbin. I love it because wrestling is a character investment. That's basically me in like 6 years, except not the height. So Corbin used to be King Corbin. He lost his kingship, unlike me, who will forever be the petty king. Or King, Corbin lost his thing to King Shinsuke Nakamura. So they've changed a different character where he's just sad. He's going broke. He's asking for money. He's getting shot in the nards.
Was it Millhouse's dad, basically?
He's basically Millhouse and Millhouse's dad. Yeah, both of them in one side. Yeah, things looking up Millhouse. I've loved it. Wrestling is about character work. You are pandering to a live crowd. Some people want the stage fight. Some people want the murder field. We're definitely going to talk about that second. Some people want the entertainment. I think a character who generates complete heel heat. Heel heat meaning like crowd hates you. You have go home heat. They hate you on the screen. To be suffering and his successes is that investment because at the end of the day, what is it? It's the comeuppance. That's what you want in every story. That's what you want. You want Lord Voldemort to get his comeuppance. You want Emperor Palpatine to get his comeuppance. You want I like Thanos, man. Stuff like I say, he's gonna get his comeuppance, man. He was right about himself. I'm just saying, there's no what you can do. But you like the whole idea of the bad guys getting it their way. And Baron Corbin, since he's been called up to the main roster for like the last 6 years, has been this smarmy, evil, unlikable dude. He's Draco Malfoy, except he didn't puss out the way J.K. Rowling did by making Draco this lovable boy. But really, that was Community who fell in love with Tom Felton. Oh, sure, I get it. Yeah, this is what happens when people get attracted to villains because they're pretty. Nothing pretty about Baron Corbin right there, looking like Sam Millhouse dad. He looks like a thumb. I love it. I love him for Vince. Let him win a title. I don't care right now. Let him get something. I'm loving it. Loving it. SmackDown. We are probably getting Apollo and Cesaro for SummerSlam, which I told you is probably going to be the likely route that Cesaro will get the Intercontinental Championship as a thank you for putting on a fantastic WrestleMania Backlash match with Roman Reigns. But you were never going to get that push. But you getting maybe the third most important title on the roster definitely does help out, in my opinion. Male's title roster, I guess, of importance. I will rate that with the women's. I think that's not perfect. You got to kind of segue it there differently. Other stuff on SmackDown. I've mentioned it twice on the show about Roman Reigns' quote, but it's just every single night. I love it. John Cena's coming from Roman. Roman's like, I can't see you. I don't want to see you. It's the same old thing. It's the same show. It's the same insults. It's the same promos. It's the same everything. Whatever he's doing, whoever's writing his stuff, if it's not him, just deserves an award because it is so relatable that he's both punchable, has improved in the ring. You want to punch him in the face, and you just want to kiss him on the lips, man. I'm just saying right now. He's a handsome guy. I'm loving what Roman Reigns is doing. Ever since he came back, this was the heel turn was needed. And I told you I wanted to see a Roman months ago. Did I not? I was saying that when they were going to WrestleMania, they were trying to figure out who to put him against. And he's just so funny because essentially what he's saying is that the crowd and the tribal chief do not deserve to have to deal with the same old, same old. We all deserve something fresh and new. And you're going to build this fantastic story between that. And then it's going to focus on Cena wanting to break Flair's record. And it's going to be Roman saying, I'll be dead in the ground before I allow you to do it. And I think it's just going to be good. The match might be questionable. Some styles don't fit in the ring, but some styles fit perfectly before the hands start throwing. I loved all of it, man. And I got to tell you, even though I'm always concerned about any kind of virus spreading when you have these live crowds coming into it, because it's so, I don't think WWE nor AEW nor any of the other wrestling promotions are really going to have the strictest protocols, because you got to think about it, they've probably been ones who have suffered the most without crowd attendance. But the good thing about having the crowds back in, man, is see those reactions they have when Roman just goes and says that John Cena is like missionary position every single night, and you hear them shut down and laugh. It's good. It's that theater aspect of what you have, that you are the peanut gallery reacting. I think it lets the wrestlers feed off that energy. And you know what, Andrew, I hope you're listening right now, because you're giving me crap about the Yankees losing 14-0. Well, the Red Sox are losing 13-1 against the Blue Jays, so suck it. We're not that special to lose all the time. The Red Sox aren't that good. I have loved it. It has been good. But he says he doesn't want John. Who does he want, Francisco? Finn Balor comes out, tells him, if you're not interested in John Cena's challenge, maybe you'll be interested in mine. And then Roman goes, says challenge accepted. We're not getting a triple threat. We don't need a triple threat. You can bounce out Finn Balor to be the post SummerSlam feud, possibly the guy who takes the title from Roman, but I don't think we're there yet. But I'm interested in the concept. I think they mesh well in the ring. But are we setting up something bigger? What is Big E going to do with that Money in the Bank briefcase? I don't know, because some might say that you can have him go and murder Bobby for murdering Kofi and Xavier Woods, and I would be totally fine with that, my brother. I get it. Or maybe you draft the remainder of the New Day onto SmackDown, Woods at Kofi, and then maybe what you do is you build this to Survivor Series, where you basically have a New Day versus the Bloodline consisting of Roman Reigns and the Usos for not just the Universal Championship, but the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I am a little pitching of a tent right now at the thought of it, because it's compelling storylines, is it not? It includes some of the best wrestlers all in the same ring. My dogs in the background are even acknowledging this as a great possibility. This is a very hard decision to do, because right now Bobby Lashley's stock is high. Roman Reigns' stock is high. And how can we make Big E's cash in? Fantastic. He's got to pick the best guy to take that title from. It's going to be great. But the match that might steal SummerSlam, Edge, Seth Rollins, the Drip God versus the Radar Superstar. That promo that I sent you guys, I hope you watch it. I'm like being the teacher telling you need to watch this to get the proper 100% score. It has been good. Seth is a psychopath. Edge is a psychopath, but they're two different kinds of psychopaths. One is a psychopath for success and for his own intentions. One is a psychopath out of his ego, which is Rollins in his beautiful baby blue suit, which I need to wear for court. They're going to go at SummerSlam. It could be the money match. Edge has been showing up. Did great in the triple threat. Did great against his match with Roman. And now we get this, buddy. Because you might have this match. You're going to have this match. You're going to have Roman and Cena. You're going to have Cesaro and Apollo. Hell, Goldberg and Bobby can start SummerSlam. I wanted not Goldberg, but Bobby and Brock, but that would have been too much. I would just die. It'd be fantastic. And it's all on a Saturday, too. Whoo, I'll be drinking. I'll tell you that right now. There's more to be done with the card, but that's where we're at right now. And then we'll go to NXT. It went longer than expected. So NXT itself, it was taped. So I'm going to confess something to you. You're going to be shocked. NXT was taped 2 weeks in advance because Olympics. So I'm going to cut to the nitty gritty of like two things that come to mind, because now that we get the air of like it's not taped and go to it, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, they were the former teams. They were tag teams together. Raquel won the NXT Women's Championship against Io Shirai at a TakeOver. Well, Dakota has now turned on her, effectively making her more of a heel. I don't know if Raquel's a face, but I think that's what they're going for. So we're going to have that match going on. And now we're going to get the match, or we're going to have Walter and Ilya Dragunov part 2 at TakeOver, which means Walter's going to start off the title. But we're going to have, buddy, get ready for this. Samoa Joe's back, baby. He went from being fired in April, sad boy Charles, to being put into as an enforcer on NXT, back as an active wrestler. He got choked out by Karrion Kross. We're going to have Kross versus Joe for the NXT Championship at TakeOver. Happy birthday to me. It's not Sunday. That's not the day of my birthday, but it's birthday week. Oh, it's going to be so good because I'm going to have SummerSlam on Saturday with Edge and Seth and Roman and Cena, and then I'm going to have that. Look at that man. You've seen Big Scary Man. The man on the right, Samoa Joe, is the only man who I think could beat Big Scary Man on that roster. Samoa Joe looks like after he's done with you, he's going to roll up his sleeves and smoke a Marlboro and walk away. You got to have believability. Karrion Kross is Big Scary Man. And sometimes when you're a champion, the only way you can have Big Scary Man lose the title is have Scarier Man, who is great on the mic, who can work the ring, who will be the first and probably only 3-time NXT champion, who will hold that belt until he loses to Pete Dunne and his new stable, to allow Kyle Riley and Dunne create the new championship and stable and feuds and everything like that. And then he'll get his opportunity to go back on the main roster and kill people on the main roster. I'm so happy for him. I love you, Samoa Joe. You were just great. Loved you in TNA. Loved you in Ring of Honor. Love you when you were doing the WWE. You killed Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania in like 19 seconds. That was fantastic. This is going to be good. This is going to be a battle of some submission men, suplexing men. That's what they do. Meat slapping meat, as Big E says. Follow us on Twitter, Big E, we love you. It's going to be good, bro. And then we go to AEW. Because NXT was short because I know the spoilers, so I knew the spoilers like 2 weeks ago, so I couldn't even give you that genuine reaction. I just kind of ran like, ha, okay. I feel like the iCarly meme where I'm like,
oh my god.
Yeah, that's who I am these days, kids. Pop culture reference. And then AEW, they did a lot of stuff. Fighter Fest 2, Fight for the Fallen. To abbreviate it, I watched some of it. And this cut down on AEW is going to kind of be to learn a wrestler or to learn a wrestling thing as opposed to a fallback. So they had a couple matches yesterday. The big one being the 10-man tag team match of the Dark Order versus the Elite. The stipulation was if the Elite win, then Hangman Page cannot challenge for the AEW Championship, and the Dark Order cannot challenge for the Tag Team Championship. The story's been good. Kenny, who's the AEW champion, Hangman Page, former tag team champions. They were loved. They wrestled against each other a couple times. Kenny separated from him after they lost the titles. He won the title from Moxley. Hangman went on to a dark spur in life, went with the Dark Order. They became baby faces because Brody died. Still not over that. He's kind of been their friend, their leader. It's been good storytelling. Now that the crowd's back, you really feel like Page is going to be the guy who beats Omega. But then what happened yesterday is they lost. So is he or is he not going to get Kenny at All Out September 7th or 5th, whatever those days are? I need to know this because it makes no sense for you to delay this further to the next pay-per-view or even to do this on live TV. I don't want that match on live TV. I want that match on a pay-per-view because the last pay-per-view match that the two of them had was too short for my liking. So I want for a championship title it to be extended with the right kind of setup. I think what they're probably going to aim for is the fact that Kenny looking like a homage to Harley Race, not Lenny from Motorhead or Triple H, is essentially, was it Motorhead? Ace of Spades, that band. I think it is Motorhead, but my brain leaves me sometimes when I go on these tangents. But unless they're going to have like Tony Khan just kind of be like, no, Kenny, you have to defend a title against them. And they leave it just at that. So we'll see kind of where it takes us in the aggregate of everything. And then they had some other stuff. Lance Archer, he's the New Japan US champion. We talked about the open door and everything that's happening. Well, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the John Cena of it, wants to challenge him. That's probably going to happen in New Japan Resurgence. There's some rumors, Francisco, that not one but two former WWE wrestlers are going to AEW. Everybody seems to be going to AEW. You have Malachi Black, who's Aleister Black. You have Andrade El Idolo. He's on AEW. But they're saying, and Mark Henry is there, and so is Big Show. But the rumors are Daniel Bryan's going. Not a surprise. You can go back as Bryan Danielson. He was big on the indies. And I'm happy for him. He deserves his, world tour of retirement the next couple of years. And I think he will go back to WWE on a short run, but I think he just wants to wrestle the best guys available to him. His contract expired with the WWE. He lost in a match against Roman that he had to leave WWE. The writing was on the wall. Whether or not Vince is pissed about it, I don't know. I would be, because Bryan's a big merch mover, and at the end of the day, WWE cares. Everybody else cares about wrestling. All the other wrestling promotions care about wrestling. WWE cares about merchandise. They care about money. That's why you're a multi-billion-dollar industry. But good for Bryan. I want to see his matches with Jungle Boy. I want to see his matches with Omega. I want to see how he matches up well in a match with some of the new talent that needs to develop. That's the problem. AEW has suffered from this whole independent thing, or not the independent thing, but the forbidden door being open, because you haven't been able to build your stars. And now you've had to sign WWE guys who kind of underutilized, like Malachi Black and Andrade, and we have to see what that talent is. Granted, Bryan Black is something I'm 100% down for. Not even kidding. Like, sign me up. I'm super excited. CM Punk going, I don't care. I don't care. He wasn't my era. Because remember, there was a time where I was off wrestling. I kind of came back right when he was kind of leaving. The benefits of the WWE Network, when I did have it, probably Peacock, has allowed me to watch his stuff. And there's some talent there. There's a lot of good talent. His match with Cena was excellent, on top of some of his other stuff with Taker and Brock. They were good. But when you're not there to live through the promos and be a master storyteller there, it's fine. It's done. But also you have to kind of understand, too, it's been like 7 years. So it's not like Edge, who that was part of my time, and he came back with a whole new different story, want to come back from injury. Punk said it'd be Punk, you know? And it goes back to the whole thing of, we talked about hypocrisy. You fans will poo-poo on WWE for getting Goldberg, but you're so happy to get Punk in AEW, even though maybe his time has passed or not, right? I don't know. Does Punk move merch? Probably. I would say yes. Is Punk excellent for the wrestling industry? Absolutely. Is he a little bit of an egotistical person? Maybe. I don't know. Punk, I love you. I follow you on Twitter. You're good on that one. I know I like him. I like Phil Brooks. I think he's good all around for everything that he does. It's just interesting of how you're going to dynamic, because here's the thing you have to understand about AEW, Francisco. You have now infused so much talent with the last several months. Allow me to explain. You got Christian Cage, who was a WWE wrestler, right? From back in the day, he came back for retirement. He used to wrestle with Edge. That's how far back it goes. Then you get Malachi Black. Then you get Andrade El Idolo. Then you're getting Daniel Bryan. Now you're getting CM Punk. And then you're still doing the Forbidden Door thing for who knows how long. Probably, presumably, until the virus is fully settled down. Why? Because if your roster gets sick, like in New Japan, you don't have wrestlers to utilize, right? So you want to probably churn out as much not free, but outside talent as you can. But let's say you sign all these big 5 names. Where can you put them? You can't put CM Punk or Christian Cage or Daniel Bryan in the mid-card before go for the TNT title. You're lucky that AEW Rampage is premiering in August, because you can put some of the talent that's not utilized on a second show. But then aren't you creating the problem? Maybe you need more championships. How are you going to float it all together? Is there too many wrestlers that you have now, not enough storyline? How are you going to build your women's division? What are you going to do about your tag team division? You see the issue? So much in one thing. It's like the Dodgers rotation, because now they got Max Scherzer, and that's even, and they might even get Trevor Bauer back. You have all this stuff. Too many open mouths, buddy. And only how about this? This is the best way I'll explain it to you. You have one big bone, 5 hungry dogs. Oof. And that's like the longevity. And then let's kind of go to Learn to Wrestler, and the thing about AEW, and this is why I leave with their main event. Their main event was the Laborers at Jericho. Match 2. Him and MJF are still feuding. The Pinnacle's still feuding with the Inner Circle. It's like every single night, like missionary position. I promise this is the last time I'll mention it. But this feud's been going on for like 8 months, man. I'm not even kidding. MJF was trying to join Jericho in like December of 2019 or 2020. Literally. This is how far it's kind of been going on. So the first labor was him versus somebody, or Sammy Guevara versus somebody. And then Jericho's second one was going against Nick Gage. Nick Gage is known for death matches in GCW for Game Changer Wrestling. I swear, I research sometimes. I'm giving you guys names like, who the hell are you knowing about? Nick Gage is not a professional wrestler. He's just wrestling in the bingo halls, messing people up. Oh, that's MJF, giving the spoiler. So last night, it was a no rules match of Chris Jericho versus Nick Gage, and essentially it was just kind of like a light, bloody form of the death match. And when you're talking about these death matches, you're talking about there's a highlight back in November. That's how far back this feud's kind of going, dude. Too long, 8 months. But you have Nick Gage using light tubes, pizza cutters to cut people open, breaking people through glass. It's death matches for a reason. That's what he's known for there. He's part of the murder, death kill squad, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. It's not my cup of tea. You already know my position. I don't like a lot of that extreme violence in my wrestling unless it's earned in the storyline. When I was younger, I loved you like any kind of violence when you're young, right? Because you're young, and hyperviolence is the way you become desensitized to the world. But you realize these are people. I don't like necessarily them being hurt. Nick Gage. I think a different thing. Nick Gage lost a game changer wrestling title to Matt Cardona of all people, who's on TNA now or Impact in a death match, and everybody was losing their minds. But this was his opportunity to show up in a big platform to be more than just the bingo halls where people who just think that not Natty Ice, but what's the other bad beer? Pat's Blue Ribbons are just the best things since the champagne of beers, and that nothing better than Double McChicken. That's the clientele that comes into it. So they have this bloody match. I watched it. I'm gonna say it right now. I didn't like it. I think the first 10 minutes really exposed a little bit of how Jericho was kind of somewhat olding up a little bit, and then how Gage just doesn't have that wrestling thing, because after those 10 minutes the crowd was like dead, and then they have to go and get the pizza cutter to cut up Jericho's arm and his head, and then they had to get the light tubes to kind of break over Jericho's head and his body, and then Jericho did a Hurricane Rana through the thing. I mean, this is the guy, or this kind of fight style is known for cutting David Arquette's neck, man. This is New Jack stabbing people, cutting and blooding them up, and it's just so excessive and egregious. And listen, if I was in the Gladiator days, I would be like, yeah, rip his head off. But I know this is a stage act, and I don't want my performance to get sick. I'm a guy who's scared about blood. I couldn't be a professional wrestler in that sense. Anytime I fantasize about when I was younger, even now, I'd be like, that's great, until I have to have someone bleed on me like that and give me an incurable STD. I don't want that. No, thank you, sir. I think that's what happened to Nigel McGuinness. He actually got hepatitis B from all the blading and stuff like that. And in fact, it ended his career. Oof. No, but there is legitimacy. I'm not even saying this to be like a dick. Yeah. I'm like, there is stuff. And Nigel McGuinness, look into his stuff. Him and Daniel Bryan, when he was Bryan Danielson, Ring of Honor, had some pristine matches. That's how I know my shit, man. I'm telling you, like, that stuff comes up, and that's unfortunate. I would have that same, because I'm like, ew. I'm like, I think it's ew when I see a kid with boogers, man. You're gonna have some man bleed over me. So I watched it. I was a fan of it. And of course, the first thing I do is I look on Twitter to see what the reaction is. And it's split, man, because some people like that kind of ultra violence and some don't. And it's weird, but I think is anytime you have to it, it has to earn the story. If it was a story of Jericho's going through platoon because this allows him to finally get to MJF, that's fine. And of course, Jericho wins. He hits Gage over the head with a little light bulb stuff, does the Judas effect. 1, 2, 3. There was a nice pile driver that Gage did. It was done. That's it. Does Gage come back to AEW? I don't know. TNT had to get approval, or the Dynamite executives in AEW had to get approval from TNT to broadcast, and TNT's like, yeah, that's fine, or whatever, which is fine. I think you need maturity in wrestling. I don't think everything could be PG kid words. You need to have curse words in there, Vince, even though you have Roman Reigns talk about missionary position every single night. I lied to you. But it's interesting. So, how graphic do you want your wrestling to be? Because if it's a feud and they hate each other and been going on, wouldn't this match been suitable for MJF and Jericho? Because they've been basically in a storyline together for 9 months, man. That's when it makes more sense to me, not just to have it be a random blap, because whatever happens after that doesn't have a conclusion. Granted, Humberto Guerrero is coming back next week as the third tribulation of Jericho, so I think that's pretty, or third labor of Jericho. So I think that's interesting because that brings back my WCW days where the Lion Tamer, because Jericho had unmasked Humberto Guerrero, and that led to basically a lot of the unmaskings of Lucha Libres down in WCW. And that's all I got. That's all I got for you this week on the cage, man. It was a long one.
Okay, all right, Charles. Well, yeah, it's India. This has gotten us. Well, I'm still gonna keep going. That's for sure. So this is the end of the show. This is probably where I will cut it up for the podcast version of it. But Because I love to torture myself, I'm going to sit through the rest of the NBA draft. I have it on my laptop on the left. God, man, we are not even done with the first round still.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's just no bueno.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers also got Danny Duffy. This is just ridiculous.
Yeah, this is not. They're crafting a super team, and it's not even funny anymore.
But this is beyond a super team.
Yeah, this is
it's the Trey Turner thing that gets me. I'm like, holy crap, because the Trevor Bauer thing, I get. That's why you get the Scherzer and you get the Duffy replacement. But they're literally going and saying, we don't need Trevor Bauer. That's literally what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're going to void his contract. He's going to get fired, and you have Scherzer for another year. And then so you replace the guy. You're literally replacing the guy who was the most like detestable person in the last year and a half, because it wasn't like he was loved on the Reds either.
No.
With the guy who was loved unequivocally across all the team's fan bases, I would feel. Even if you like hated the Nationals, you didn't hate Max Scherzer.
No, Mad Max. We all love Mad Max, man.
Yeah, and so now he's not just gonna get one; he might get two, because that team is scary. And we talked about where people are like, "Oh, the Giants have been leading." I'm like, the Dodgers are just resting up, man. That's how I always viewed it. And unless I wouldn't want to be in the wild card, because even your best starting pitcher can have a bad day and screw you over. That happens. But getting Trey Turner, Corey Seager and Bellinger and all this other stuff that's going on that roster. Because let's look at the standings now. Dodgers are 3 games behind the Giants.
Yep.
The Padres are 6 games behind, so they have to really go from there. I could see the Dodgers stacked out. And Dave Roberts is a good manager. We make fun of him because he couldn't win all those titles until we figured out why he couldn't win those titles. Cheaters. And then when he had a fair go of it last year, they won. This doesn't seem right. And this is where it's like, me as a Yankees fan is like, damn, can we get like a call to arms on a cap or anything? Something. Luxury tax don't mean nothing because it's already done in the middle of the season too. So it's like, whatever, we're already here, right? Because isn't that your reaction? You're like, all right, man, in for a penny, in for a pound. So screw it. I granted, I really wish the Yankees made that kind of position, but it said that Scherzer didn't want to join, which is fine because there's not a lot of other pitchers who have that kind of like free agent ability that we could have signed anyway. So if it wasn't Scherzer, I kind of get it, but that's when you just have to kind of still get some guys to bolster. Like, why is Chad Green still on my team? You let Luis Cessa go, but Chad Green's still on it when he blew like 2 of the holds that we had in Boston when we could have won. We were in the lead, man. We were up like 4 each time in each game, like 4-2, 4-3. We had 4 runs in, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, 5-4. Okay, sure. It's just
no. It's we'll see. I mean, let's say if it puts them over the top for
what
trying to beat the Giants.
What else?
Yeah, man. I mean, God, there was a lot of stuff, man. And we didn't even get to all the stuff that I was going to talk about either. But regardless, man, we went long. Andrew came back, so that was cool. We got different insight. God, man, he loves Beck Warrior. Wow,
he really does. And Nathan Fillion.
Yeah,
that's a fanboyism. Nathan Fillion, follow my good buddy Jeffrey Hollis on Twitter, please. I don't know all his other social media, but that's really all his social media. Nathan Fillion, I think you'd be a perfect Harry Dresden. I know you do in the classic. Bring me some limited series Harry Dresden. I know they did the show with Sci-Fi. It was not good, really, really bad. Bring it back, man. Bring it back. That's just me doing the shameless plug.
Yeah.
You do. Basically, you have to rename the episode as Andrew's dirty secret of loving Mech Warrior by Nathan Fillion. The next show that you should have, we will get struck for copyright, but you should make like the Mech Warrior body with Nathan Fillion's head on it. And Andrew would buy like the whole stock.
Oh man, I don't have that many. I don't have the modding skills for that. I don't even have Mech Warrior. I don't. Anyways, I guess that's it for the show. I mean, I'm gonna keep going. I got Fishing Planet in the background. It's a fishing simulator. That's a sport, right? Fishing is a sport. So
video gaming is a sport.
Yeah, gaming.
So you're taking 2 sports, you're making it 1.
All right.
What you can call this is the late night goofs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep going. We are on pick 22.
That's a big.
Oh man.
Big up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, and Charles is gonna enjoy himself. I don't know what your plans are for the rest of the night, but
I want sweets, man. I just played like 3 hours of Pokemon, so that's where my limit is.
Yeah.
And now I'm just making my way to the 4th gym, but I just basically try to grind out. I have like a level 19 panda thingy. It's super cute. I don't know what the name of it because I gave it a cute little nickname. But then like I'm in like level 30 territory with my Pokemon, so I'm just now at that stage where my fifth Pokemon is just gonna be the low level stuff, so I could just naturally evolve it and trade it out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, folks, that's it for the show. Then this is where I will cut it off. So bye-bye.
Take care.